living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that ties stupidity up in its basement and... Oh, hey Brady, if I tie someone up in the basement and leave them for like 2 weeks without any food or water, is that going to be a problem?
I mean, they can probably make it without food. A lot of the planters have a healthy layer on them, but maybe the water, you should leave them a bowl. They can lop it out.
Yeah, they're definitely dead. They're definitely dead. Shit. Anyway, yeah, welcome to Monday Night Debates, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. It's a fun one tonight. We've got returning Howard George Stirrup. Howard, how are you doing this evening?
Great, thank you.
Welcome back to the channel. Moderating today, we have the illustrious Brainy Beaver. And how are you doing this fine Monday evening, sir?
I'm doing okay. I'm trying to moderate. I don't have a mute button over here, but I'll do my best to shout over while we go. Yeah. I'll go Howard or Harold. I can't remember which. That's what's going to happen.
Either works.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I might yell at you too, Craig. Don't think you're going to be spared, buddy.
Oh, I don't mind being yelled at. That's fine. Just before we get going, Howard, you posted a picture in my Discord earlier. I just wanted you to tell me what this picture is, if you don't mind.
Something a friend sent me.
But why did you post it in my Discord? I don't really understand. What's it supposed to be representing? What are those people marching for?
I'm sure that he's watching for slightly different reasons, but the point is that people are starting to wake up that there's a lot of crap that shouldn't be going on, and there's a lot of things that should be more investigated and not so overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what any of these protests were for, by any chance? I mean, because sure your exact words were, "I'm not alone, Craig. People are waking up. FTFE, stop retarding science." So, are you implying that these people are marching for flat Earth or something?
No, of course not.
Right. I mean, the one in China, they're marching about legislation about bringing Beijing people to Chinese mainland. Barcelona is about Catalan
Europe,
separatists.
they're worried about taxes.
Yeah. Hey, just on a note, don't you think it's funny that the coronavirus came out not long after China was protesting?
Not
yeah,
really.
But here, I got a question for you. Wouldn't you release that thing in Hong Kong, not in the center, about as far away from Hong Kong as you can get?
More importantly, Howard, have you seen the 2011 movie Contagion, which is basically the coronavirus?
Is that called predictive programming?
No, it's called coincidences. Just like all the times you've seen stuff in The Simpsons.
You can call it a coincidence if you like, bro. I don't mind what you call it, but people are starting to see patterns.
Right. So I asked for this debate for you to bring 3 empirical evidence for the Earth being flat, with some kind of experiment that could back up what you're saying. You agreed with the caveat that you get to talk about your mass hypnosis. You've sent me a 15-minute video. Would you like me to just play the first 10 minutes of that as your opening argument?
Yes, please. And if you enjoy it, you can always put the remaining 5 minutes on afterwards at the end if you want. Okay. Otherwise, people are welcome to check it out for themselves. There's alternative visualization tools that could represent the true reality. And there's also a quote from a NASA science communication director that kind of debunks what Red Rhetoric was saying. But hey, it's up to you. But yeah, the first 10 minutes, definitely. Thank you.
All right, just before we play it, do you just want to take just 30 seconds, tell the people who you are and where they can find you and your position on the shape of the Earth?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My name is Howard George Stirrup. I am a globe skeptic. I don't believe in what we are shown on television, and I keep an open mind to what it could be, and I just go reducing the false symbols using the science method as best as I can, begging people to compare evidence instead of just debating beliefs and secondary information all the time. Thank you.
All right, cheers, Harold. We'll get your thing up to... I'll play the first 10 minutes, and then if there's time at the end of the discussion, we can go in the rest of it. So
that was a big smile.
Okay,
very
everyone.
Good sport. I like it.
I've got to say that it's nice to have... It might not be the evidence I'm looking for, but it's nice to have something prepared by a flat earther that has joined, because a lot of them just go, yeah, well, it looks flat, done it, and about that. But from what I've seen of this, you actually put a bit of thought and presentation into this editing process, so I do appreciate that. So everyone, enjoy.
Are your thoughts your own, or are they all inspired? We know that knowledge is power, and that power corrupts. Yet most people believe that they can't be hypnotized, and nobody likes to be told when they're mistaken, being misled, manipulated, scammed or cheated, which is why we tend to shoot the messenger, the bearer of the bad news. Now, I don't mean to be condescending. I truly believe this to be a matter of life and death, and problems tend to get worse when we ignore them, so please hear me out and I'll show and tell what's worrying me and why I think it's important. In case I'm mistaken, then I hope to be informed with constructive criticism and maybe convinced otherwise by comparing evidence. I'm not looking to debate nor preach beliefs, but rather share information for consideration and conversation, because we tend to make better decisions when we're aware, well informed, and especially experienced. Now, since the 50s, in over 50 countries, we're being forced to consume toxins to supposedly combat climate change. Yet, when we're seeing such devastating fires and storms in the recent years, it's obviously not working, at least not for the said purposes. And with all due respect to those that do, I don't trust in the space agencies. Over 100 million per day that they receive from our taxes could help end poverty and many illnesses. I'm no longer convinced by what they show on TV. After seeing what Marvel, Disney and Hollywood studios can cast, the moon landing's literally kid stuff. I've had first-hand experience of how hair moves freely underwater, I've watched videos of zero-G flights, and we've all seen the many wonders of Hairspray. And there's many official recordings where we can see clear evidence of harnesses, bubbles and green screen glitches. Even the video of Red Bull's skydive from 39 kilometers altitude shows that the horizon always rises to the level of the observer. Even when they used a fisheye lens outside and forgot about the 70% oceans. And don't forget, rotating globes should have constantly morphing clouds, but then again, even NASA's designer, Robert Simmons, admitted that he photoshops our worldview to match the official narrative. Which is probably why we've never seen a weather report in real time, and even the satellites we find on the internet are all suspended in high altitude by balloon. Maybe it's just a coincidence that Stanley Kubrick, the movie director, worked with NASA, and sheer luck that Universal Studios was spot on with the logo in 1927. Unbelievable that they had such advanced technology and could predict the future, like BBC with Tower 7. So unless we've verified something with personal experience, maybe it's better to keep an open mind, because sadly people will misguide our beliefs to suit their agenda, and we're motivated and influenced to idolise and trust public figures and brands, and often take their advice without questioning their motives, and harsh truths hurt our pride, so we often submit to lies and accept excuses. So I like to promote making primary observations and comparing results instead of debating beliefs and secondary information. My favourite experiment is verifying if moonlight chills during the waning phase, which is 1 week within the full moon. You can simply use a glass of water and a thermometer, or you can compare wet and snow surface temperatures. A dry surface is a negative control, and avoid other misreadings like radiative cooling by comparing the moonlight to unsheltered shaded areas, and manipulate the effect even more with a magnifying glass to confirm the independent variable. Sadly, many false prophets will lie to support their claims and source of income. But thanks to the scientific method, with repetition we can reduce those false variables too. Sadly, some have even tried to swindle my invitation for tender with threats and harassment, and I've had enough. Because there's reproducible evidence of atmospheric conditions affecting visibility, and there's reproducible evidence of the laws of perspective and angular resolution affecting visibility. But it seems that no matter the distance, we never observe a visible loss of landscape due to curvature. Here I am in Benidorm Beach, looking at the streetlights of San Juan beachfront 20 miles away at water level, making this reproducible observation irrefutable evidence that we're being lied to about the dimensions of where we live. The zodiac hasn't suffered any disfiguration over thousands of years, and all the ancient sites around the world still align with particular stars, which suggests that they're more important influence to our reality than we're taught to believe. The images and definitions that we're taught to believe in contradict what we observe ourselves. Scientific apparatus confirms that we should trust our eyes and use our common sense. The twinkles of visual frequencies like cymatic patterns, messages in the angles of light, angels, hence why the Vatican owns so many telescopes and observatories, the biggest one being called Lucifer. Even with the naked eye we can see Venus bright in the blue sky during sunrise and sunsets. There's so much reproducible evidence of visual symbols, keys between our dimensions, and conscious understanding and manipulation of acoustic and electromagnetic levitation is most likely how the old world order made such majestic constructions, just like nature. And if we are 70% water like Earth, then we're all suffering from any type of distortion. The right notes can animate matter to look alive. Feel the beat. That's the spirit. And most religious buildings, and even CERN, have applied the knowledge to their technology, and any good web designer will agree that the more you understand the code, the better you can program. The importance of sacred geometry has been engraved worldwide, and many quote-unquote temples have no space for prayer or mass, but do have antennas and pillars to harness energy. There is also evidence all around the world of a worldwide flood, shaping the landscape and leaving petrified organs in dry riverbeds and along coastlines, petrified trees upright that debunk rock dating, and even titans lying around everywhere, proving that premineralization can happen much quicker than we're told. Just look at Pompeii and research Girolamo Segato. The CIA documents detailing how they discredit opposing views of conspiracy theories even if they're true. That's because propaganda persuades us to not take counter-evidence seriously. It blurs historical facts to suit his story. Hypnotists can induce a state of trance by getting you to focus on their actions or voice, so much that we mistake it for our own idea, subconscious, like autopilot. And marketing plays on our insecurities and desires, encouraging us to consume their products, service, or ideology. Authorities play on our emotions to justify their plans using guilt, shame, fear-mongering, creating a problem with a solution like the antivirus software companies, offering multiple choices to distract us from the other options that still exist, and predictive programming causes us to accept our fate without question. Dates and numbers seem to have a great importance to the mass hypnosis. All evidence of intelligent design is suppressed, and we're rewarded for regurgitating fairy tales that are full of conundrums. The Luciferian philosophy is to do as thou wilt. You can be as gods, even though consent and tolerance is often manipulated. Many world leaders openly attend satanic rituals, probably because they are too delusional and have either sold out or been bought into it. And MKUltra is just one of the programs that we know about, where for decades innocent people have been subjected to electric shock treatment, LSD and other psychedelics, audio and visual repetition, as well as other sensory deprivation and excess experiments. There are experiments to show how we can all suffer from cognitive dissonance and selective attention, making us unable to see the truth at plain sight, and sometimes even defend the perpetrator of Stockholm Syndrome. And the story Lord of the Flies is about the studies that show how with fear and peer pressure we can obtain a pack mentality and conform to belong, follow the fashion, as it's been made easier to be in a popular cult than stand out uncool fool. Negative and positive priming install emotions that should be triggered at a later date for a desired reaction. Authority and experience can cause us to be numb and desensitized. Our surroundings and company can rub onto our character, which alter our perspective and moral compass. Iron sharpens iron.
A child molesting robot. What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and note that it continues the cycle.
Why is the age of consent just 12 years of age in the Vatican City if they all took a vow of celibacy? And why are all the politicians, royals and celebrities somehow related to each other? And it looks like most of them are members of secret societies also. Or is it that they just have bad circulation and all suffer with a cold right hand? People who practice meditation, energy healing and channeling use mudras, which are hand gestures that invoke different frequencies like antennas. Symbols speak to us.
Wow, a lot to unpack there. Can you just remind me what the?
Can I ask?
Yeah, go on.
Can I ask one thing before you get going, just because I don't want to lose this? Just so you know, buddy, I actually have an email behind getting it to him, but I have an email Q&A that Rob Simon himself has actually agreed to. Is there any question? Like, I can literally write this down right now. Would you like to ask him a question, like yourself? I'll put it in there. It has to be not insulting in some sort of way, because I happen to believe that he does actual work, but if you wanted to ask him a question, and you could even get to fight later, think about it. Ask him, but think about asking him a legitimate question. But it's out there, just if you want. Because I'm working on it right now. I was literally putting it together last night. I was supposed to get it to him like a month ago. Well, not supposed to. He agreed to it over a month ago, so I should get my ass in gear. Yeah, that's popped out at me, and I thought, hey, listen, if you want to ask him a question, I have him on Twitter. He follows me right now. I've talked to him myself. Anyways, moving forward. Sorry. And by the way, that was The Rock. Was that supposed to be an actual person saying pedophile robots or something like that? Because that was The Rock.
So that was The Rock. Thank you for the offer, and please get your email to me through Craig or in the description. And
right.
Honestly, honestly, you can just get like the offers out there. Just send Craig an email with the question you want to ask, and I'm working on it right now. I'm hoping to get it to him maybe in a week. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, go ahead, guys. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Right. So I suppose the question I need to ask is what were your 3 empirical evidence backed by experiment there?
Same 3 that I made a video of about 2 years ago, and the same 3 that I to your show in the 2 occasions.
Okay, just talk me through what they were. Sorry, so yeah, you broke up a bit there. Just talk me through just quickly the 3 proofs so that I can just make some notes, because it was kind of hard to pinpoint them in amongst the rest of that.
Mass hypnosis. We can manipulate moonlight during the wanning phase to chill water with a magnifying glass, a glass of water under direct wanning moonlight, and as many glasses as you want in shaded but unsheltered areas. Or you can use one of them FLR lenses that you can, or infrared, so you can measure the temperature of the surface, but make sure the surface is wet, or at least not not a tray or sheltered, because then it's just going to be a negative control.
Right. Okay. Second one.
Same as we spoke about before, but yeah, thanks for watching the whole video. Well, the first 10 minutes. The second one is the same as always. We can see further than we should be able to at water level, so that proves we're being lied to about the dimensions, which is why I'm a globe skeptic. And I appreciate it if you don't call me a flat earther, because that puts me in a position of preaching beliefs. I don't know if it's flat. I just know that there isn't the curvature that spherical trigonometry obliges that there should be. And the third experiment is the making a video of a star or planet and watching it in slow motion to find this distortion that we keep hearing about. I've seen people play with their camera exposure and make it out of focus, put all the different brands of good modern cameras with big lenses seem to be making great videos that show cymatic patterns. No distortion, no disfigurement, no blurriness, no discoloration, no missing pieces, no broken parts. So those 3 experiments I stand by for now 2 years or longer, and I'm still waiting for people to compare reproducible counter evidence if they want to convince me that we're not being lied to and that all those things in my video were just coincidences.
Right.
I am open-minded.
Okay, lovely. There's so much I want to go through in that video, and if you don't mind, I think we will go through the video bit by bit together, Howard. But I would like to first present you with my evidence that the Earth is the shape that we say that it is, and the heliocentric model is as we say it is. I'm not as produced as you in this case. I've just got some explanations to give you and some pictures to show. But I would like you to address the points that I bring up. I'm not going to go into the rest of the conspiracy stuff, because I just like to stick to evidence. But so
Me too.
First off, the biggest evidence that backs up our model is the fact that gravity is a thing. There is an acceleration downwards of 9.8 meters per second squared that is slightly different in different places on the Earth. And because of that acceleration downwards and the fact that we can measure differences in it, allows us to do things and to measure things. Like, for instance, we know that at the poles, the gravitational acceleration is only the gravitational acceleration at the poles is more than at the equator. It's 9.82 meters per second squared at the equator, at the poles, and 9.78 meters per second squared at the equator. That's because at the poles, there is less centrifugal acceleration acting against gravity, and you're closer to the center of the mass, meaning that the gravitational acceleration is slightly stronger. At the acceleration, it's slightly less. This is evidenced by the fact that things actually weigh less at the equator by about 0.5%. And that's why all scales have to be calibrated locally wherever they are. Because if they're not, then you could buy some gold at the equator, just go north and sell it for more. But no, you have to calibrate scales differently in different places, because the way that gravity works based on mass and distance means that in different places on the Earth, the gravitational acceleration is slightly different. Some things that we've actually done with our understanding of gravity have actually met the criteria of being an experiment that has a hypothesis and empirical evidence. One of the things we did was discover Uranus, discover Neptune. In 1846, basically they noticed some weirdness in the orbit of Uranus, and based on that, they just did some maths that were on Newton's gravitational laws, okay? And the maths basically told us that as the orbit of Uranus went around, because of it wasn't doing exactly what it should, meant that there should be another mass at some point. And they did the maths, and they found out that when they looked in the place that you should look, they found another planet. And that is the planet Neptune. I'm trying to get another picture up, but the thing seems to have stopped. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not too convinced by that one.
Wait.
Due respect.
Let me. I didn't interrupt your thing, so let me get through everything, okay?
No, you
right.
said another picture.
So, yeah, this was the observations that they made, and when they actually looked and discovered that there was a planet in the place that they were supposed to find one, based on the differences in the orbit of Uranus and the maths that they did, and they discovered Neptune by doing that empirically. You can't really get more empirically than saying the math says there should be something there, we look there, and there is something there. That absolutely demonstrates that gravity is as we say it is, because it works and we can find things with it. Another thing that shows that there is a downward acceleration is that bubbles in a bottle They obviously rise due to the buoyant force opposite of gravity. But if something is in free fall, then the bubbles stop falling, as it shows in this. You see the bubbles rising, and then as this bottle drops, those bubbles not only stop rising, but they form more spherical shapes, showing that the downward acceleration has disappeared. This is another completely empirical thing that absolutely explains that there is a downward acceleration acting on everything. That's why within this contained system, the physics are happening in the way that it is, and why when it moves, the buoyant force disappears because the gravitational force is equalized out by it free falling, meaning that it forms perfect spheres. So gravity is exactly as we say it is. Exactly what it is, that's a whole different conversation. My second point of evidence is the fact that we see our atmosphere as a gradient, and we know that in our model there is a vacuum of space, but a gradient of atmosphere that does not have a container. A lot of globe skeptics, flat earthers stick to the point where you need a container for gas pressure. You don't, absolutely don't, because there is emergent forces. I forgot to get the video prepared for this one. 1 second. There we go, that's the one I wanted. Sorry, let me just get this video up to show you.
Have you ever used a telescope while he's getting that up?
My daughter's got a telescope.
Yeah, I've been to that NASA place in England. I can't remember where it is. Was it George Bank or something as well?
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
just so you know, you don't have to go to NASA. Like I have a telescope that tracks and follows them. It doesn't have any display screen. You have to actually look through an eyepiece. So it's old school in that sense. But I mean that technology is over a decade old. In fact, I think it's like at this point it's almost 20 years old. So, anyways, go ahead.
So there is things called emergent forces that are the results of other things, and inside this container, this is the inside of a nuclear reactor, and it shows that inside this nuclear reactor is actually a vacuum 10 to the negative 11 torr, and you see a band of pressure start to create, which is just there by an emergent force because they're running a current through it. And I use this as a demonstration that we don't need a physical container, and that forces can be a result of something else. Okay, so that's why I've used that, and I think you've got different explanation for gravity, so we'll get to that. And my other evidence is that the curve of the Earth is measurable, like absolutely measurable, and they had to measure the curve of the Earth and take it into account when building the two LIGO centers. The two LIGO, there's two LIGOs, and they have 4 kilometer long arms, and as you can see, the arms are next to a waterway, and when building this, they had to take into account the curve of the arm. LIGO's arms are long enough that the curvature of the Earth was a factor in their construction. Over the 4 kilometer length of each arm, the Earth curves away by nearly a meter, and precision concrete pouring of the path upon which the beam tube is installed was required to counteract this curvature. It took many years to actually calibrate this, because the laser had to be completely straight but not level, because it didn't want to follow the curve of the Earth. And the fact that they had to take it into consideration when building this is evidence that there is a measurable curvature at the rate that we say it is. Obviously over water you have refractive properties, and we can get into how to calculate what the refractive properties are, because I've been looking into that a lot more. But there are other constructions that take the curvature of the Earth into account, like the Veneno Narrows Bridge in New York. The tops of the pillars, which are completely level, the tops of the pillars are 1 5/8 inches further apart than the bottom, which matches the curvature over the distance of the bridge. So again, the curvature of the Earth had to be taken into account for construction, and it does for quite a lot of things. Surveyors have to constantly calculate something called the spherical excess, and it's their job to literally survey the land. So there is more than enough evidence of curvature of the Earth. You not trusting space agencies doesn't really matter because they don't care if you trust them or not, because they're just doing their thing, which is advancing humankind. Right, so...
retarding it.
Sorry?
Or retarding.
No, the exact opposite. Right? But those are my three evidence that the model is as we say it is. I'll give you 10 minutes now to respond to those points, and then we can go through your video. How about that?
Yeah, I won't take 10 minutes, Craig. I mean, with all due respect, I respect everyone's religious beliefs, and I consider your beliefs religious or philosophical. And I mean that with all
they're
respect,
not,
like I say, because, well, let's look at the facts. You're trusting in secondary information. You haven't made any primary observations, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record. I believe in my personal experiences and evidence that's reproducible with primary observations. You believe in information like math that isn't an observation, it's just a calculation, or it might add up. But if you don't see it in reality, it's not, mate. And and with all due respect, you're showing me images or depictions, drawings of Uranus or something, and it's not very convincing, because I can see with the naked eye Venus flashing very bright, and too bright to be a solid just reflecting sunlight, and then I can see with a camera or a telescope that it's even more beautiful, and if I watch it in slow motion I don't see distortion. It's like the Morse code but in symbols. So yeah,
I mean, none of that is a refutation. It is refuting that gravity is a real thing. Oh, have we lost him? Brainy, you still there?
Yeah. I was muted.
Yeah. Gravity. Whatever that thing is.
There he is.
Right, Howard, sorry. You cut out a second there, but I lost you for about 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
So do you just want to go back a bit?
Okay. Thank you. So I'm not here to debate if gravity exists and if it's a pulling from below or pushing from above. You yourself said it's pulling down. It's pulling down. You're not saying it's pulling towards the center, because that's not reproducible science.
Oh, no, it is. All the measurements direct a vector towards the center of the Earth. That's the point.
I'll just get the point out. It doesn't prove curvature, Craig. Okay?
No, the gravity absolutely proves curvature. Because if the gravity is there at the acceleration that we say it is, the nature of the world would be curved based on the physics of the universe. If there is a downward accelerating force that we can measure with plumb bobs, that all the vectors all point towards a central point, if that is the case, then we are curved.
Your physics...
No, not my physics, the laws of physics.
The law of physics... I don't want to have to shout over each other, mate. The law of physics needs redefining, because it was written by men that constantly get corrected. 2, gravity doesn't prove curvature, because those bubbles just represent the most equal force, like a 0 or whatever. It's the most it's balanced, isn't it? So it's got no relevance.
But do you accept that there is a downward accelerating force?
I accept that things accelerate as they fall. I don't know if it's pulling
which means
below. I don't know if it's pushing from above. I don't know.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You accept that there is an accelerating force that we can measure differently at different places on the planet. Do you accept that?
I accept that things can react differently on either model. A multi-dimensional Earth with different with different magnetic properties. I mean,
that's lovely pseudoscience, but all I'm asking is, do you accept that there is a downward acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared, averagely around the world, but at different points in the world that acceleration is different?
I haven't checked it, but I'm sure that you're very informed and I'm sure that you're very informed and well versed. So even if I were to confirm what you're saying with my personal experience, it still wouldn't prove curvature, my friend. It would only prove that there's different points of acceleration in different parts of our physical realm. But our physical realm doesn't encounter the infrared, the ultraviolet, the other dimensions that are out of our perception range.
We can measure all of those.
We're talking beliefs, and we're basing our beliefs on the information that we've been served or our personal experiences.
Nothing is beliefs. I don't. Right, let me make something very, very clear for you. I don't believe anything. I don't have beliefs. Period. I hold my positions because they are the most logical positions to hold. Belief does not come into it. I am not religious at all. I have absolutely zero beliefs. I hold my positions simply because they are the most logical positions to hold. That's the only reason.
You gotta believe in yourself, Craig. You got to believe in yourself, Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
That's important. All the kids out there, remember, we gotta believe in yourself, okay?
No, I'm not real. I can't be proven. But no. Everything that I hold as a position can be explained with logic and math. And that is the way that I view the world. Yes, you can. Because it can all be repeated as well.
Your worldview is theoretical and mathematical and virtual reality, mate. My beliefs are based on primary observations.
Oh, you have beliefs. Okay, that's good to know that you're the one with the religious beliefs. That's good to know.
We all have religious beliefs.
No.
You believe in scientism, and I'm not trying to be rude. You believe in evolution and Big Bang.
I don't believe in any of these things. I hold the position that they are fact because it's logical to do so. That's nothing to do with belief.
If you would like to watch the rest of my video, there's a part where I address the Big Bang, because you can have a Big Bang in a multi-dimensional Earth too. Yeah.
And just so we're aware of one thing, different wavelengths of light aren't different dimensions. They're just different wavelengths of light, which we can measure.
Yeah. Not everything's light though, Greg. But
no,
what
but
I was trying to say was,
you said different wavelengths of light are different dimensions. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't true. But anyway, okay, right. So you're accepting that there is a downward acceleration, okay? And we can discuss more on why that actually isn't evidence of a curved Earth later on. But move on to my next evidence, which was the fact that, well, we can ignore the emergent forces one, because if you're accepting there's a downward acceleration, you can accept that that's the reason why there's the atmosphere. But how about the fact that several constructions around the world have had to take the curvature of the Earth into account? LIGO is an extremely good one.
That's hearsay, Craig.
It's not hearsay.
I'm sorry, mate, but
they literally had to take them into account.
I've got a video that's a reproducible observation that I've been yelling about
over water, right? With refraction, yeah.
I can see street lights 20 miles away at water level on any clear night. Okay, I can see the buildings in the daytime, no matter if the sun's in front or behind me. Okay, so it doesn't matter where.
You know that refraction is a thing, and we can get to that. But this LIGO is different, and LIGO is different because the 4-kilometer arms of both of the LIGO locations are vacuum chambers, 10 to the negative 9 torr, I believe, which is 1/1 trillionth of an atmosphere. That means that No. This is a fact of the construction around it.
You just said I believe, so it's okay.
I was saying that I was trying to remember what 10 to the negative it was. I think I'm pretty sure it's 10 to the negative 9 torr, which is 1/1 trillionth of an atmosphere. Okay, what that means is that the lasers in there, the helium, the really powerful lasers that are in there, will not be refracted because there is no medium in those tubes. Okay. They're actually, I think, the third largest vacuum chambers on the planet. And that what this means is that the light will go completely straight. And that means that we can use that as a reference to what the curve of the Earth is. And as you can see, right next to the leg of the LIGO here is a waterway. not some raging rapids, a level waterway. If we're going to say level, follows what the Earth is, okay? And it follows this 4-kilometer arm all the way up. At the top end of this arm, they had to have over a meter of precision concrete pouring to make sure that it could maintain the complete straight level of the laser inside. It took about 20 years to calibrate it to get it right, to actually make sure that this laser was completely straight. At this point here, near the start of the building where the water is, there is not this over 1 meter. At the end of the 4-kilometer arm, there is over a meter of precision poured concrete. That is direct, observable demonstration that the Earth is curved. Otherwise, they would not have to have done that. Can you address that?
It's a nice story.
It's not a story. It's a fact. You can make. I don't want you to pretend that it's not real. I want you to just address the fact that they had to literally take the curvature of the Earth into consideration when building it.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Right. I can make observations.
No. I'm not asking about your observations. I'm asking you to address the evidence of LIGO.
Right. It's a nice story, but it's a 20-year-old
I don't care if you think it's a story or not. I want you to address the fact that there is evidence.
I'm trying to address the story that you've just told about a 20-year-old construction.
If you're going to go, it's fake, I'm just going to move on. I want you to address the fact that the physical construction of it had to be taken into account the curve of the Earth.
Well, let's let him get it.
That's hearsay. That's hearsay. My point is, it could be that you're believing in a complicated lie instead of making a simple observation to see for yourself. Couldn't it?
But the observation is that there's 1 meter of extra concrete on one side. Isn't that what he's saying, though?
And
so he wants you to answer that.
These aren't secret installations. They actually do tours around them. Anyone can go and see this for themselves.
I've been inside NASA. I've stood on launch pads.
Like,
if it's so easy for them to measure the curvature when they're building, I'm only just going to say this quickly. If it's so easy for them to measure the curvature when they're building over that distance, why can't we observe any loss of landscape over that distance, or double the distance, or 10 times the distance?
Because it's 1 degree every 69 miles.
It's 8 inches approximately per mile for the first 1,000 or 2,000 miles. So let's just keep to the simple truth that there is no measurable curvature observable at level, but they can tell us to believe in a 20-year-old story that they built.
But there absolutely is. There is observable curvature, though, and the curvature is observable in this installation. And I've shown you other instances of observable curvature before, like the fact that where's the image? Let me just get it up.
No, you tried to use a guy's evidence. The guy's photoshopped crappy grey image as evidence against me.
No, they weren't Photoshop. I've seen. Right, let me ask you a question here, live, because you ignored this question a lot before. Do you know what a RAW file is?
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen the RAW files of those photos. They are not photoshopped. Well, all right. Tell everyone what a RAW. Tell everyone what a RAW file is, Howard.
How about I tell you this? If that was a real
answer my
photo,
question. Answer my question.
To me.
Answer my question.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to hang up, mate. If I can't say something calmly, right? You're asking.
Well, you need to answer my questions.
I don't need to prove my IQ. I'm comparing.
I'm not asking
evidence.
you to prove your IQ. I'm asking you to address a question. You're saying they're photoshopped. I am refuting that by saying I have seen the raw images. Raw images cannot be photoshopped.
Right. Let's not get upset with each other because we're misunderstanding, Craig.
Well, answer the question
I'm going to answer your question. If you interrupt me one more time, I'm just going to hang up because I don't want to get stressed with you, mate. I know you mean well.
You see the rage counter. That can go up if you want.
You're doing this for an income. I'm doing this to help the world get better and advance science. If I'm wrong, show me. Don't just tell me stories. Now, let me address what we said. A raw file.
Yeah, let's see if he answers it.
A raw file can be a raw file, but if it was a true photo showing curvature, then he would be able to reproduce it in better quality. In the 2 years that guy's been harassing me and threatening me, yeah, he's never reproduced it with better quality, and he's never made a video like I can, and like anyone else can.
He has offered to go with you to and create the observations. He has said to me. He's said to me several times.
You want me to meet a psychopath?
He's
already
a psychopath.
Right. Hey, if you don't want to do the observations, that's fine. That's your problem, Howard.
You're interrupting me. You're interrupting me, and it's not really right, is it?
Well, actually, no. I'm trying to get you to address my things.
The guy that you're talking about,
the
guy you're talking about stalked me on Facebook. And he stalked my parents on Facebook.
That's because you owe him money.
No, let's get that really clear. If he was showing a real photo, he would reproduce it in better quality.
It is a real photo. I have seen the raw files. That is undisputable.
Well, why can't he make a video as good as mine, or even
He's not a video maker.
I'm on about making a video
he wants to go with you and do the observation with you.
No. Listen.
I mean, you're the one refusing to do it. Yeah, you're saying this because you owe him money. You owe him the money for your challenge, and you don't want to give it to him.
Craig, you're changing the subject.
Now,
if he's got reproducible evidence,
this is more reproducible evidence.
I'm not going to shout. I'm going to let you finish speaking.
Right. Then, this is more reproducible evidence of the curvature of the Earth. And he's done it. He's actually done it live in the past couple of days from the same point, right? So explain to me how this is possible if the Earth is flat.
The subject.
I'm not. I'm showing you curve of the Earth.
No, I want to finish what I was saying. The guy that you're claiming has evidence has never reproduced it in better quality. So
he has offered to go with you and produce it.
Please stop. Please let me speak. Stop trying to slander me with rubbish. The guy has evidence. I want to see it. I don't want to go. I
never slandered. He has offered to go and do it with you, Howard. You are the one refusing to do it. You're being dishonest. What? Right?
Goodbye, Craig.
Are you going to rage? Hey, Howard, if you run away, Harold, then that thing will go up. That number will go up to 3, and you will have rage quit. All right? Don't be a little coward and actually address the points. All right? It showed the curve of the Earth.
I don't know what you're talking about, Craig. Look, it's very simple.
It showed the curve of the Earth, and it was. I've seen the raw files.
I'm going to hang up. It's really disgusting now.
Well,
no one
actually,
wants to argue.
Howard, address the points then. Address the points.
Let me finish speaking. Look, you're getting like Team Skeptic, yeah? Who's not even a skeptic. He's more religious than anyone.
Let's not have a go at someone who's not here.
Right.
All right.
Let me finish speaking, or we're going to end up ending the call.
Let me ask you a specific question then. All right.
Let me answer the question from before. You're asking why I don't go and reproduce an experiment with a guy that's threatened me on social media and stalked my parents. Are you serious? A guy that sent photoshopped images, raw and photoshopped. I've proved it on my video that you've played, that he's got Photoshop skills. It shows it. He's never reproduced it in colour or better quality.
Chopped. That's
Please let me finish what I'm saying.
When he's done, can I jump in?
No, I've got this.
Otherwise, what's the point, mate? What's the point?
You're going on. I'm trying to address what you're saying.
No, the reason I'm going on, Craig, because when you interrupt someone, I forget where I was. If you stop interrupting
just stop for 1 sec and let me clear up what I'm trying to say. A raw file is not photoshopped. I have seen the actual raw files.
Yeah.
Therefore, they are not photoshopped.
Bring it up. Show everybody the photo that you're on about. Let's see.
Well, we have to get the guy here.
Do what you want, mate. It's in fact, Craig.
Right, let me get
on my video. Email. It's on my video. It's on my video.
I'm trying to get the actual
picture. Let's stop
arguing
and let's compare evidence. Let's just compare evidence.
You still haven't addressed the point that a raw file is not photoshopped. And
What's
you didn't.
What's that got to do with the curvature of Earth, mate?
Because it shows the curve of the Earth, Howard. It shows the curve of the Earth.
Put it on, put it on. Stop talking shit now. Come on, put it on.
Hey.
I've had enough of this nonsense. Put it on.
None of it is nonsense. Okay, you welched out of what you said you would do, and I found that quite offensive.
Put it on, baby. Come on, baby. Put it on.
If you want to shut up for a second, I will get the email up.
Hey, you're talking shit, slandering me about not meeting a psychopath. Put it on. Let everyone see your evidence.
What about the point is, why haven't you gone and done it yourself?
I have done it myself, mate.
At that point? At that point?
I've published... Oh, is that where the curvature is, Craig? It's
well, that's where it was observable.
Is that where it is, yeah?
That's where it's...
Put it on, mate. Put it
I'm trying to find the email. Will you shut up, you little baby?
The email, put my video on, it's on there. You used your evidence against you, mate. It's unbelievable clinging on to that.
I'm getting the actual pictures. I'm getting the pictures from the person. Yeah, you're acting like a little baby.
Sorry, Craig.
You're acting like a little baby.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna jump in the middle and ask a question.
How you can slander me and not even dare?
I haven't slandered you, right? I'm trying to get the evidence.
You said I owe the guy money. You said I owe a guy money.
Yes, you do. Now, if you
put it on.
If you're going to be quiet for a second and let me find the file on my computer, I will get it up. Or you can rave like the absolute madman that you are. Now, I found the email.
I'm mad about you being a Satanist, mate. I'm mad about you being a Satanist.
I don't believe in Satan, so that's impossible, isn't it?
Well, right, you can still be a Satanist, can't you? Be as gods yourself, can't you?
No, I don't believe in Satan, so I can't be a Satanist.
You were defending him last time we saw. You were defending him last time.
Although when I spoke to Satan, he asked if you could keep his name out of your mouth. He doesn't appreciate it. Right.
I'm not talking about Satan. I'm talking about Satanists. I'm talking about people.
Yeah, there's no Satanists here.
Wow, you were defending Satanism last time.
Right. No, I wasn't. I said
I'm just mad about you misleading the public to believe in your words like Simon Dan instead of recommending people go and check for themselves like I do.
Let's go and talk about that Satanist a bit for a second. When did I defend Satanists?
You make that money, Craig. I do this for free. My channel's
answer my question. Answer my question, Howard.
Go on, sir.
Answer my question.
What do you want, sir?
Answer my question.
That, sir?
Answer my question.
Hey, you said you just stop bickering, okay? Let's just everybody bring it down. And I've been trying to
stop. Everyone stop.
Here,
everybody stop right now. Harold, answer my question.
On your own show. Call me Harold, mate. I don't give a fuck. You ain't got no evidence.
Answer my question. Then I'm about to bring up the evidence. I'm going to wait for you to tucker I'm going to wait for you to tucker yourself out. Now, answer my question, Harold. When did I defend Satanists?
In the second debate we had.
Tell me what I said to defend Satanists.
Satanists are good to children. Don't listen about Jimmy Savile, and don't listen about all the other Satanists and all the rituals that they get into.
Right,
it's all right. It says in their little book that they are protecting children.
Now stop. Okay. So you are claiming that Satanists rape children and stuff, whereas if you actually look into what Satanism is, one of the highest tenets of Satanism is to protect all the children. I am not defending Satanism. I am saying that you do not know what you are talking about.
Really?
I don't think Satanists are good people at all, but when you say they do stuff to children, you are wrong, because if you actually look into Satanism, one of the highest tenets is to protect children, so you are wrong. Right, now, about that evidence, are you ready to act like an adult?
Listen, Craig, you're saying that I was saying all Satanists of all over.
Be quiet, be quiet now. Be quiet now. Alright, muting you for a second. Right, so I can show the evidence that you've asked. Harold, right, you're going to stop talking?
That nice cartoon for me. I'd like to address what you said. You're making false accusations.
I've not made any accusations. I have cleared up about what Satanists are. Now we're going to move on to this evidence.
Just said something that I didn't say. You're twisting my words.
Now, if you want to be quiet, if you want to be quiet, we're going to move on to the evidence you asked for.
Keep twisting my words. So you can keep twisting my words, Craig. Does that work for you?
What I'm going to do is mute you and go through the evidence for everybody to see. Right, I'll come back to you once I've gone through the evidence and everybody can see it. So, Howard did a video Harold did a video asking for evidence of curvature of the Earth at sea level. So somebody did exactly that. Took pictures at these 2 points. Oh, sorry, wrong screen. I'm trying to scroll down on over here. Laterally, they were about 4 meters apart, 6 meters apart, 40 meters apart. Sorry, one at 1 meters above sea level, one at 8 meters above sea level. And what he found was, when he took the picture from 1 meter, a lot more of the rock was missing, approximately 33%, I think. These are raw files, again, so not photoshopped, raw files, because he shoots in raw files. Measured it with pixels and everything, showing that there is actually curvature of the Earth at sea level. I'm going to unmute you now, Howard. So
are they not photoshopped images that you're looking at now?
Sorry, what was that?
Is that not photoshopped?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you say that again?
Is that not photoshopped, Craig?
No, these are raw files.
The one that says 102px with the blue writing, that's not Photoshop, Craig.
We're not talking about that. That is obviously the put together for reference. You see what he's done is he's taken the two and laid them over each other.
Oh, yeah, lovely, lovely.
Okay.
He's got skills, yeah. But how come you're not showing everybody the other images that you tried to swindle me with first? The ones that I put in the video.
These are the ones that I've been sent, and these are the ones that he has sent you, right? So these are the evidence that he has.
I got you, Craig. I got it all in my video, bro. You've got screenshots.
Yeah, he may have sent something else as well, but this is what he's sent.
He tried to swindle me. I've got screenshots. I sent them to you. I've got screenshots that you've seen them and acknowledged them, and you're not talking about them or showing them now, are you, Craig?
Let me get the point. Let me get the point on the video, and we'll talk about it. All right.
Thank you, because that's honesty.
I mean,
works better.
I just want to say that you've completely ignored all of my points that actually show that we have curvature. You've ignored the fact that the Narrows Bridge in New York literally shows curvature by having two level pillars that are further apart at the top than the bottom. You've ignored the point.
You measured them.
Yes,
you measured them, Craig.
Doesn't matter if I've measured them. I've not been to New York. It's actually.
What are you talking about, Craig?
There's a whole.
It's a belief, then.
No,
it's a belief.
I'm not going to acknowledge you using the genetic fallacy. It doesn't matter if I've done it or not. That doesn't matter. That is not what science is about. We stand on the shoulders of giants. So I'm just going to ignore every time you talk about have you done it yourself. I'm just going to ignore you because that doesn't mean anything. These are facts that anyone can go and check for themselves. So it's not like I'm lying up.
How do you check that, Craig? Please inform me how I could go and check that experiment for myself. What exactly do I need to do to observe this curvature that you're telling me about?
Go to any of the places that I've mentioned and observe it for yourself. Go take a trip to LIGO and have a look around. Go to the bridge I keep talking about in New York and use some theodolites and stuff to measure it. Have a look at the construction documents for the bridge and for LIGO. Go and look at these things yourselves, Howard. But you won't because you stick to. And there would be.
Will there be observable curvature?
Yes.
Will there be an observable loss of landscape due to curvature?
Yeah, just like in the picture that I show you that my good friend Miles Davis, who lives about 5 minutes down the road from me, I keep showing you, but you also ignore. This picture, this picture kills flat Earth. This is repeatable evidence that has been repeated several times by a couple of different people. This is an impossible picture if the Earth is flat.
Why? Why exactly? Sorry,
I've gone through this picture with you before. I guess you have short-term memory, but right. So this is taken on top of a hill, not very far from me. This is a still from a video. In the video, he shows the plaque showing the point that it shows exactly how high above sea level he is, okay? So we know for a fact the camera height is 210 meters above sea level.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I've just explained to you that you can go and watch the video and there's a plaque there showing you what the sea level is and you can check on all the topographical maps on exactly the position where he was. So it's all checkable. The camera height was 210 meters. Okay, it's been repeated from the same place several times. And when you check on topographical maps, the position here is...
What has been repeated, Craig?
This observation, right? Now let me talk it through you, okay? So the camera height is at 210 meters. Those three pillars are the pillars of the new Forth Bridge, okay? They are 210 meters at the top above sea level. Those hills in the background are several kilometers away, and the height of the hills is over 500 meters above sea level. The fact that we have a reference point of what eye level is, and again a reference point to what eye level, 210 meters, the top of the bridge is 210 meters, means that at no point, if the earth is flat, should anything fall below those points if it is more than 210 meters in elevation. So
have you heard about perspective, things getting smaller with distance, Craig?
And that is the thing here, because you have a reference to what eye level is. Things will not fall below eye level. They may get smaller with perspective because the law of perspective is alpha equals 2 times the arctan of g over 2r. But an important thing about perspective is parallel lines do not intersect. And as we have a reference to what eye level is, anything that is more than 210 meters should not fall below that reference line, no matter how far away it is. It may sink into that line as it gets further away, but it would never fall below it because that is eye level. Perspective does not explain that. That is a physical observation of the curvature of the Earth.
Thank you for the explanation, Craig, and I appreciate your attempt, but I'm sorry it doesn't convince me because my reproducible observations at water level at any distance and everyone else's on clear days without atmospheric conditions is proving otherwise. So this distorted image that someone else has taken isn't convincing me. Maybe there's another explanation.
No, well, here's my rebuttal to that. Here's my rebuttal to that. Well, this is a reproducible video, and again, he actually did this same observation live about 2 or 3 days ago. But this one is from over a year ago. He's done it several times.
Level, then?
Right, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about water level is that is where the highest levels of refraction are. Okay. Now, one of the reasons he went above sea level was to avoid the refractive conditions that you get when closer to the water.
Guess what, Craig?
What?
I don't see any refraction coming out so crystal clean. Because when your mate Team Skeptic, and there's no Iron Team, but I don't know his name.
Refraction can be clean, absolutely. When we're talking about looming,
can I please just get my rebuttal attempt at you before you interrupt me again? So when Team was debating Nathan Thompson, he pulled up that video that I've used where there's a little blue and red and green stick. Yeah. Now
showing refraction.
The funny thing is, that great refraction, it proves distortion, doesn't it? Not distortion like we hear about with stars. It proves distortion with light refraction that we expect to see when we talk about mirages. Yeah.
When you've caused extreme conditions like that, yes.
When we see buildings and streetlights with no distortion, nothing at all disfigured, any time of the year, any time of the day. Right? As long as the atmospheric conditions are nice, these observations at any distance, we're manipulating distance, manipulating light source. Our reproducible evidence is stronger than your crappy picture, and I mean that with all due respect, Craig.
Okay, now again, your assumptions about refraction are completely wrong because refraction doesn't always have to have distortions. Wait, stop, Howard, stop. In extreme conditions, you will get distortion, but not all refraction has distortion. A lot of refraction can be extremely clean. Refraction is simply a term for the changing of orientation of light when going through a change in density of medium. And we actually have ways of calculating exactly what you should be able to see based on certain things like temperature and humidity. You have to take in a lot of things into consideration. But there is absolutely when you can have clear refraction. And the most clear refraction you get is when you have something looming, which allows you to see a lot further. And standard refractive conditions allow light to bend about 0.5%, which is going to allow you to see several hundred miles. For just good refractive conditions, you can see 4,000 miles plus based on the math. So there is no reason why, when you are at water level, you should not be able to see further based on the way that light bends when it goes into a denser medium.
Craig, I appreciate that you're well informed and very versed, but at the end of the day, let's just talk frank. You're talking about stuff. Please, let's not make sarcasm. Let's try and take this serious because it's gone on for years. And I know it's your income, but it's about time that people could get over it. So, simple. If what you're saying is true, then we would have different mirages at different times. But we tend to see, we tend to see perfect every time. The street lights, where I'm talking about my observation, every time we see the street lights, they never look taller or shorter, they never look slanted or bent, right? So you're talking about light refraction. I see light refraction, it blurs things, it twists, skews things. I want you to prove that this is a mirage that I'm showing in my video instead of just telling me math.
Well, it's not there all the time.
Because the only experiments that you can show me of light refracting will be very blurred.
No, not at all. Light refracts all the time in different ways. But the main thing about your observations, Harold, is that you couldn't see them all of the time.
Yes, you can, mate.
No,
Come to Benidorm. Remember,
really
I made an offer? Remember, I made an invitation for tender? And no one was able to show me evidence otherwise. And that black and white picture that you used is the second attempt that a fraud used and then threatened me.
Again, you can't put fraud if it's raw files. You cannot say that it's been photoshopped. So just understand that. I was going to on your video, but then you started crying. Where was your video gone? One sec.
It's because it's quite frustrating. I'm trying my best to get through to you, Craig, but you just don't seem to be accepting it.
That's because you're wrong, Harold.
Secondary information.
It doesn't matter if it's secondary information.
You keep slandering me and talking about
I haven't
the guy
slandered
that
you.
proved is a fool.
Right, okay. You are referring to this, aren't you?
Thank you, Craig.
See?
Why is it that why is it
just so you know, you
don't on his website?
Just so you know, you don't get. Just so you know, you don't get censored. All right, stop saying that you do, Harold.
Can I please say something, Craig?
Yes.
Why doesn't he have that image on his website if it's not fraud?
He's actually shown me those raw images. So, like I said.
Come on, mate. You keep talking about raw images. They're distorted. They're black and white. They're not a video.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. If they were true, why doesn't he reproduce them in better quality and make a video?
Because he wants to do it with you. But
he does, mate. But
but also he said that he wouldn't do it just with you. He said if we could arrange for like people to film him to go and do it whilst he's doing it, then he would do it then as well.
Who is this? Who is this guy, Craig? Is
Richard Lynch.
What are you talking about? Why didn't you just make a video, a 10-second video, and send it like I've done? What's the big deal? You overcomplicated lies.
He isn't here he isn't at that place all of the time. He did that whilst he was there.
Why didn't you make a video, Craig? We've been arguing about this for 2 years.
It doesn't matter. I'm not him. But he's shown evidence, and you ignored it by claiming it's fake. And I just think that's intellectually dishonest. When the simple question, Howard, here is, have you gone and tried to reproduce that yourself?
I've been to that beach before.
Have you tried to reproduce that? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
Yes, where I live, I've done the same distance.
Show me the evidence.
I've made a video and put it on your channel. And
show me the evidence of you doing that observation, please.
That same observation in a different area. The same.
No. I want that observation. I want that observation.
It's the same distance.
Doesn't matter.
Same
I
distance.
want. Right. So you haven't done that observation, is what you're saying? Yeah.
Oh, can you show me that observation in better quality, please?
Well, you could go and do it.
No, because he's a
So
fraud.
So the answer to the question, have you done it, is no. All right, we'll leave that there.
I have done it where I live, the same distance.
No, that's not that observation.
I've also done it on a bigger distance where he is. If you turn his camera to Ibiza, you can see Ibiza, which is further, Craig. What are you talking about? Why is he looking at a cliff close when he can look at Ibiza, which is triple the distance, and prove
because he shows that there's curvature.
Doesn't curve as much as they tell us. It doesn't seem to curve at all. You hold on to your gravity, because it ain't curvature, is it, mate?
Oh, except for all the evidence I've shown of curvature. All the evidence I've shown of curvature, you're just going to ignore it. Oh, sure. I've shown you LIGO. I've talked about bridges that are literally designed there. I've shown you an observation that's been done several times that is completely impossible, 100% impossible on a flat Earth.
Can you show me a primary observation?
Genetic fallacy, I'm ignoring that. I'm ignoring your genetic fallacy. I'm ignoring your genetic fallacy. Doesn't matter.
You can keep repeating yourself.
Yeah,
Can you show me better quality, Craig?
Doesn't matter.
I've shown you a reproducible video in high
definition.
This is
reproducible. It's been reproduced several times. You're
what am I looking at, Craig?
I've explained to you. We just went through what you're looking at.
Yeah. How come moonlight chills water, Craig?
It doesn't.
Have you tried, Craig, or is that an assumption?
No,
is that
I've done
belief,
it.
Craig?
I've done it, and my control showed that there wasn't any difference in temperature, and also the amount that it chilled was actually the exact same as when there was no moon in the sky.
And I'll tell you right now, I've done pages of thermodynamics at school for refrigeration, and there's no such, you can't cool like that. It's impossible the way physics works.
Part of my degree of physics was thermodynamics. There is no way to.
There's no such thing as cooling. There's only absence of heat. Heat is the only thing. There's either heat or no heat. You can't magically ray cool something because there's only the ability to add heat. In fact, anytime you involve energy, like if there's light hitting something, there's energy. Energy contains heat. So you can only ever add heat. You can't take it away magically. You need to either radiate it away or like there's ways. I believe I've done the fucking math. I've done pages of it.
Well, you haven't done the experiment, bro. Math doesn't prove it, does it? Math doesn't prove it.
Dude, we do the experiment at school. I took my gauges. I do temperature, pressure. What do you think refrigeration is? What do you think refrigeration is?
You're talking about math, and I'm talking about making an experiment with water.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I got a question for you then. No, I got a question for you. You want to be so smart? Answer something for me. How does an air conditioner make cold?
No, we know you're not smart. That's cool.
How does an air conditioner make cold? How does it make cold happen?
Answer his question.
I don't care if you're more informed.
How does a refrigerator make cold?
I've got experience, and I'm asking people to compare evidence from making primary observations.
It adds energy. It adds energy to something and makes it and compresses it and makes it into a gas. It does conversion of gas to liquid conversion, and it dispels energy. But at any point, it's all just entering energy. It's never actually removing. All you're doing is absorbing energy and pushing it in another direction. Anyway,
how come moonlight chills water during the Wanning phase and more?
It doesn't. You're misinterpreting.
No, you're assuming from your secondary information beliefs. You have not made the primary observation. You're just assuming. You don't know what you're talking about. You have beliefs. You're regurgitating secondary information like a parrot, and that's kind of religious.
Okay, but you showed pictures of planets that you took with a P1000. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but I have a telescope over here that's 20 years old that I have physically with my own eyeballs seen planets. I've seen Jupiter and its rings, it's not rings. It doesn't have rings. I'm talking about the lines in the planet, plus its moons dotted around it. I've seen it with my own eyeballs. There's no display screen on this. It bounces the light off a mirror. It goes through a freaking lens. Okay, so any sort of idea that they programmed it in, and the thing is, you're just too ignorant to go and buy a telescope and do it yourself. So then you claim it doesn't exist because you've never seen it.
Excuse me.
Right?
You finished. You've claimed.
Well, I was fucking talking. I was finished when I was finished. If you're gonna be a bitch, I'm just gonna keep pressing this the whole time.
Blah 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 blah.
Doesn't prove curvature.
Sorry, I can't hear you. You finished? Are you fucking finished? Continue now.
That's very mature. Very mature. You've claimed.
Well, you're being a dick, so just think about it. Let me finish next time. So go ahead.
You had finished. You claimed that your telescope shows what NASA shows. Make a video. Because you can get telescopes that make videos, or you can attach your camera to it.
Thunderfoot did it like on his channel, like full action of it the other day, just because he was proving how easy and cheap it is. $300 will buy you the equipment to go and look at this shit and take your own photos of it. No computer needed. You can buy a cheap DSLR. But dude, that's all it is. A photo is a snap in time. You are so ignorant, it's fucking childish. You know, that's the problem with you fucking idiots. And you think we're going to take you seriously. And meanwhile, you just go fake because I believe it's fake. And then you tell us we're the believers. You're the real fucking chicken fucking bone worshippers.
Right.
You swear,
where did this...
This is what happens when you get me pissed off.
Hey.
Frustrated?
Yeah, I'm frustrated with
ignorance.
Harold, where did
Maybe if you stop calling me names and swearing, I'll be able to talk to you with respect.
Blah, 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 blah.
Harold, where does this photo come from?
Right, can I just address what you said first,
No,
Craig?
no, I'm asking you a question.
I've been interrupted and shouted over.
No, because you're going to say it's fake because you've never seen it yourself. Go buy the equipment, do it, and stop being a chump.
I've asked you a question, Harold. Where does this come from?
No. I want to address one thing that he said, Craig. Can you show me some counter evidence, whatever your name is, instead of just telling me you've seen it? Show me, bro. What are you talking about?
Instead of saying you can't do it, just do it. Stop being a fucking child and expecting everybody to do everything for you and just go out and do it. I bought the equipment. I learned how to use it. I fucking did it. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Do it. Instead, you sit there and you talk about how wonderful you are and how intelligent you are, but you don't do anything.
I never said I was intelligent. I said I've made observations and I'm asking people to compare. I don't want you here to say, I want to compare.
Stupid idiot that won't do anything.
Listen, Nike, just do it. Compare results, yeah? What you're talking about. Show and tell.
I can't compare it to your results. I can't compare it to your results because you won't do it.
Stop.
You ain't got shit, brother. You ain't got shit but this.
All right, you tucking yourself out, Harold? All right, Brainy.
I'm done, okay, but Jesus.
Harold, right, one thing. Where does this photo come from?
You're fucking anus, Craig. I don't give a shit, right? You can't prove curvature. You change
I've showed all the evidence of curvature.
You talk about my moonlight experiment.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get. I've got evidence ready. I've got evidence ready. I'm asking you a question.
Come on, then. Stop changing the subject. You ain't manipulated it with a magnifying glass. You've done it with sheltered areas.
No, I've done it myself.
And you've not done it with water. You've done it with dry surfaces.
No, I've done it.
Shit. You keep changing the controls because you can't handle the truth.
Have you tuckered yourself? Are you finished yet?
No, I keep showing on my video. You'll keep changing the fucking experiment. You keep changing experiments because you can't handle the truth. See you later, mate.
Are you going to run away? Are you becoming the third rage quit of the year?
Are you going to keep muting it? You're going to keep censoring the truth, bro. You can't handle it, your information.
Hashtag don't censor Harold.
Dude, you got to look into the truth if you're going to say you look for the truth. Until you go and do these things yourself with $300 of equipment. Thunderfoot showed the exact equipment you can buy and do it yourself with nobody helping you. You just do it and stop talking about it.
Now, are you gonna answer the question?
You've made videos based on other people's images. Good job. You've used other people's images.
I just want one answer to a question, Harold. Where does this photo come from?
Do you think your fans think you're winning when you keep beeping me?
Yeah, they suggested it.
Oh, well, they're fanatics, should I say? Do you think
I already had the blah 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 thing.
Winning a debate by
well,
you're winning a debate by making swear words, interrupting me, and censoring.
It's just getting annoying. The reason we're winning the debate is that you refuse to go and do it yourself. The thing is, you can keep talking about it, but
listen,
I have
no. I'm sick and tired of your spin shit, yeah? Look, you speaking over me, you're going to slander me, and then you're not going to let me answer. Kiss my arse. I've made the observations.
Harold, stop.
I've provided...
Okay, I've muted him for a second so he can tucker himself out.
Honestly, $100 Canadian. It'll probably be like 80%.
Brainy, you've got to stop as well now.
You're empty-handed.
Harold.
You're empty-handed, and you're accusing me of not making observations.
Harold.
You ain't shown shit.
Harold,
You're all talk.
I'll stop. You guys stop too, bud.
Harold, you need to stop
You're
now.
all talk. You're all talk.
Are you going to stop now?
No, I'm having a great time, mate. You're all talk.
Right, okay. Simple question.
You're all
Where
talk,
did it...
mate. Show it.
Yeah, simple question.
What's he on about making observation?
Harold,
You're all talk. What's
I'm
that
trying-
picture on the screen?
I'm trying to get there. If you will behave like an adult, we can get to it.
I'm not swearing. I'm not the one swearing. I'm
Blah,
not the
blah,
one
blah, blah,
muting.
blah.
You've sworn several times
Very
so
mature.
far. You've sworn several times, Harold. So
I'm sorry. I haven't called anyone names. All right?
Oh.
I haven't.
okay. Now,
Yeah, go on.
yeah,
Go on.
you keep saying about taking photos and stuff and looking at the stars. Just answer me where this photo comes from, because it's a lot
Uranus,
better.
Craig. I
Is
haven't
it-
taken it.
No, but it's a lot
Why you
better.
make a video? Why you make a video of it, Craig? That's
Harold,
what I keep asking. Compare
can
a video
you-
in slow motion. Why are you changing the subject? Why are you changing the experiment? I keep
I'm-
saying measure water, check temperature drop. You keep measuring
Right, Harold,
fucking dry surfaces.
I'm asking you for
keep
a
changing the controls, Craig. Have you noticed?
Harold. I'm just asking you a question.
Deflect, Craig. Deflect. Deflect.
Are you able to answer a question like an adult, or are you going to
You're
behave like
able
a
to
little
not
baby?
deflect.
I'm not
Is this my
deflecting.
experiment,
I'm going to get to the cold water moonlight in a second.
Is this a
but
deflection, Craig?
I want a
Is
simple
this a
answer to a
deflection?
question from you.
Is this a deflection, Craig? It's not a video, is it, Craig? It's a deflection. I said make a video, compare videos in slow motion. What you
I
showing me
cannot
this
make
for,
a video whilst we are live talking, you absolute
I'm
ding-dong.
asking to
Will you
see a
shush for
video
1
in slow
second
motion.
and just answer
Your
my
mate,
question?
Your mate that's just had a little rant keeps talking about telescopes that he's got, but he ain't showing nothing, is he? Show me a video, bruv. What's happening?
Right.
You'll talk.
How?
You'll talk. Hearsay.
Right. Start behaving like an adult, or I will just start muting you until you
first,
run
mate.
away.
You first.
Right? I've muted you because you're behaving like a child. I'm going to unmute you and ask you a question. Where does this photo come from? Is it anywhere from NASA? Do you know?
It's not from me, Craig.
Okay. This is from someone that I personally know that took it with equipment that anybody can buy. It looks
Can you
nothing
make
like...
a video, Craig? Can you
Stop.
make a video of it, Craig?
Stop interrupting
Can you
me.
make a video?
Stop interrupting me
Can
like
you
a
answer
child.
me? Can you answer me?
All right, I'm muting you again because you're being like a little baby. Okay? This was taken with this equipment. Equipment that anybody can get. Something that you can do yourself. And if you get this equipment, you do not get those stupid little flashy things you get with a P900. Okay?
Can you prove it with a video, Craig?
You can make it yourself if you go and get the equipment.
Can you show a video to support your empty-handed claims, Craig? Because that's
Go
all you
and
keep making.
get the equipment and do it yourself.
Can you give me a
Why does
reason
everything
to
have to
do
be
it
done?
myself by showing me some evidence first of
Yeah.
a video, Craig?
No, I'm asking you to go and make the video yourself because you are not comparing any evidence. You are just going with the evidence you have, which is why I'm showing
No,
you.
I
Stop!
just want to
No,
see a
I haven't
video.
finished talking. I am showing you the equipment that you can go and get so that you can make a video and compare your precious evidence that you don't have. Do it yourself or shut the fuck up.
A video.
No, he's still going on. Do it yourself or shut the fuck up. Okay?
So you believe
No. Okay, I'm muting you again. Do it yourself or shut the fuck up. I'll just show everyone.
I don't know why it's so hard to just...
Look at the crazy
Why
guy.
is it difficult?
Everyone look at the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Do
but
it
like,
yourself.
Underfoot literally posted links
Do it
to the stuff
Brandon,
to buy
sorry,
to go
yeah.
take pictures of space stuff.
Do it yourself
believe in
or...
a
no, Harold, do it yourself
Can't
or
show a
shut
video
the
to
fuck
friend.
up. Do it yourself or shut the fuck up. All right? Now, we're going to take a few minutes to watch a video together, Harold. Or are you going to run away before we get to the evidence?
He's gonna leave.
You had me there, Craig. You better put a video on because I'm tired of your bullshit.
Yeah. Are you going to behave like an... Are you going to behave like an adult? Are you going to behave like an adult? Are you going to behave like an adult? Do I have to mute you whilst we play the video? Are you ready to see the video? Right, this refutes your whole cold moonlight shit. All right.
You believe in that.
Now,
don't
be
you?
a good boy. I didn't interrupt you during your 10-minute diatribe of nonsense, so you be
You've not let me
quiet.
say anything, Craig.
You be quiet while you watch this video.
You be quiet, Craig. You don't
I'm
let
gonna
me
test
speak.
it.
Yeah, that's a dry
I'm going to test to see whether or not this is
Be quiet and watch
I
the
do
video.
remember being
It's
awfully
true.
quiet during your video.
And this is how I'm going to do it.
This is a response to somebody, so just pay attention, okay?
Can you show me a video of the
This
stars?
point that he makes about moonlight is not cold, he claims that Astronomy Live proves
Just
that
be
moonlight is
quiet
not cold.
and listen.
I'm going to test it. If moonlight is cold, I will call him a liar. If moonlight is not cold, I will agree with him.
Thank you, Sean Hufford, for this.
And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use this this magnifying glass that's infinitely variable on this rig, and I'm going to focus the moonlight onto the ball of a thermometer, which would, in this case, is the USB stick. I've ordered one off Amazon. I'm not going to go with the analog style mercury one because there are always problems that ballers refuse to accept to do with analog stuff, so I'm going to go with a digital.
Right, now, just be quiet and afford me the same courtesy that I afforded you, alright? I did not...
to do with me.
Right, I'm going to mute you again. I did not interrupt your 10-minute video once. Afford me the courtesy of behaving like an adult and paying attention for the 5 minutes and 16 seconds of this video, okay? I'm going to unmute you, and I expect you to behave like an adult.
It's not my experiment.
No, instantly, you're not behaving like an adult.
That doesn't matter.
Just be quiet. No. Shut up. Just be quiet and watch the video.
No, this is called. Is called.
Right, I'm muting you again, and I'm going to play the video.
Really?
Now, I afforded you the courtesy. I afforded you the courtesy of not talking during your video. Can you afford me the same courtesy?
Of the stars in slow motion, Craig, through that telescope you're showing me.
Okay.
Geistview is asking if you want him to join. By the way.
There's no point anyone else joining. I'm just gonna argue with them more for a bit.
And can we stick to my experiments?
I afforded you the courtesy of not talking during your video. Act like an adult.
Answer my question and I won't keep
after
asking
this video. I want you to watch
What's
this.
What's this got to do with me? This isn't my.
Your video was a mashup of other people's footage. What does your video have to do with things?
Watch the video and be
asking
quiet.
People to check water temperature.
Harold,
this isn't nothing to do with me.
Watch the video.
Can you answer my question? Then,
after the video, I will answer any questions. Afford me the courtesy that I afforded you. Go.
One.
Alright guys, as we can see the moon is up, and I have a little blackboard here. I chose this specifically because it retains heat very, very quickly. It also loses the heat pretty swiftly. But of course I have the plastic magnifying glass, which I will now focus on my blackboard. And it is really hard to see the moon because there is some light around here. I'll actually do that. And right there. I don't see massive cooling down with the plastic magnifying glass, to the shock of no one. So, I also have the glass one, which is not actually cracked, that's just reflecting the tree above it, because, you know, glass reflects IR light. So let me get this focused. And there's that. And we see no massive cooling down there. Let's get the whole thing in so I can make sure I'm not going to miss it. So, no cooling down there with the glass magnifying glass. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier because here I have the mirror. That's a magnifying mirror. Just look at one side's not magnifying, the other side is. It's a parabolic mirror. So what I'm going to do, and this is going to be a little trickier, is I'm going to place the mirror there so that it's angling up back to the moon, or at least close to it. Then we'll take our target board and then magnify the moon onto the target board, hopefully. I'll get there as soon as I get it locked in. And there we are. And let's see if any spots get cold really fast. Huh. So even reflecting the light, we're not getting any kind of temperature changes. Sorry, Anthony. You're SOL. So there's my board. There's the mirror. Magnifying glasses. All done and dusted. Try again next year.
Okay, now before you start, Harold, I'd like to introduce the person that took that observation and let him explain the exactly what that represents. Okay, so we can have a proper conversation about it.
Can I ask a very quick question?
Yes.
Was that taken on the 5th of November? Did I understand?
Sean?
No, that was taken on the 13th of October.
Because on the camera it said 5/11/19. No.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first person in history not to update their camera's date. I never do. I'm sure mine says it's like 1962
just want to make
or
sure
something.
that, you know, is this honesty or is this a mistake? Because I saw on the camera the 5th of November.
Well, let Sean respond and explain what it was.
The claim was made on the 13th of October. It was actually filmed on the 5th of November.
Sorry, how does that work?
I was refuting a claim made by Anthony Riley. He made that claim on October 13th.
Yeah, but the video you made in the top right-hand corner says it was made on the 11th of... was it the 11th? No, the 5th of November. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so what's that got to do with my experiment, mate? I keep telling people the wedding phase,
hold on.
Let Sean explain, okay? Let Sean explain what that was.
Hold on. I actually listened to your experiment.
Yeah.
There's a major
But you're
issue.
asking people to believe you.
No,
I'm asking
Harold, let him explain, okay? Let him explain what the observation was and why he did it.
It's not the wedding phase, is it?
There's an inherent flaw with your experiment. You're wanting to use a wet surface.
How do you know you didn't do it during the wedding phase?
Let him explain without interrupting.
Harold,
okay?
I heard your experiment. There is a flaw with your experiment. You're wanting to use a wet surface. Do you know what water does to infrared light? It absorbs it. It doesn't pass through it, which nullifies your entire premise.
The waning moonlight is not on the 5th of November of 2019, so your experiment
Are you
is
actually
misinformation.
avoiding the inherent flaw with your experiment?
Are you avoiding my question? Why didn't you do it during the waning phase? Is it on purpose to mislead people? Or was it an honest mistake?
Well, no, because for the waning phase of the moon, we have to be up in the morning. I'm usually up at night. So I always catch the waxing phase.
No,
but the flaw with your experiment...
You didn't do the experiment. No, you changed the control. You admit that. Thank you for being honest. You misleading
but
people
you're
with
not
your
being
video.
honest.
I hope you take the video down and I hope you do it again during the wanning phase if you really want to compare results.
But you're missing.
Try
you're
not to
missing
twist the
my.
experiment.
But see, I listened to your.
Are we getting into
Doesn't matter if
fucking
it's raining or
crystals and
regning.
shit? Like, come on, man.
Yes, he is.
My
Stop, Brady.
during
Don't
the wanning
distract.
phase-
Goddamn.
Right, all right. Just let Sean finish his point, okay? No one talk.
all right.
Let Sean
Not
finish his
during the
point.
wanning phase, though, is
Right,
it?
Harold, I'm going to
It's
mute you for a
different
second. So
phases.
Sean,
Harold,
Right,
there
he's
is
muted.
there is a substantial flaw with your experiment. You want to have it looking with an IR camera or a FLIR at something that's wet. Water absorbs infrared light, so you will see blackness no matter what. Do you not understand
Why
how
don't you
that
do it during the
falsifies
wanning
your
phase?
experiment?
Why don't you do it during the wanning phase and stop asking people to believe you and start recommending
But see,
people do it themselves?
I'm not
and show
doing that.
people- show
I'm not
people how to
proposing an
do
experiment that is fundamentally flawed with the way the experiment is proposed.
You are lying. You are proposing an experiment and you're asking people to believe you. I'm proposing an experiment for people to check themselves. You
But
are
your
a
experiment
creature.
won't work.
I'm asking
Right.
people to check the results.
But you won't
See
get a
the
telescope.
But
difference?
your experiment won't work, and I tried to explain why, and you're avoiding it. Water absorbs infrared light. It will show up as cold no matter what.
A thermometer and a glass of water.
Your
and do the
experiment
experiment during the wanning
promoted the
phase.
use of a FLIR or an IR camera. It will show up as cold even if the water is at 80 degrees.
If you watch
Because
my
you want the
video
surface to be
carefully-
wet.
Excuse me, if you watch.
Do
the
I need to make a
carefully
video of
and
this
let-
showing that you're full of shit? I will
Use
go out.
me.
I
if
will
can
go out as
finish
soon as
what
I get
I'm
off of
saying.
here.
Are you interrupting
I will-
me because
no,
I'm trying
I'm
to
going
get the
over
public
your
information?
experiment
Harold,
when
Harold,
you verify
Howard,
it.
listen to what he's saying a sec. Right, Sean.
Why
Harold.
should I
will
listen
do
to
this.
you when you don't stop interrupting me? You changed the experiment because you're liars.
No,
Harold-
You're misleading the public.
Harold, listen.
Everyone out there, go and check yourself. Stop believing these liars.
Harold, right, listen to
You're
Sean.
liars, Craig. You're regurgitating false information and you're asking people to believe you.
You're going to tucker yourself out there, little guy.
100 bucks, say the telescope. 100 bucks.
Harold, right. Just let Sean.
Why don't you provide a video from your telescope? And why don't the other guy
Right,
do the
Sean,
moonlight experiment
Sean,
in the wanning
not
phase?
Sean, sorry,
And why don't you,
Harold,
Craig,
Harold,
show a video?
Okay, I've had to stop him. Going to let him tucker himself out. Right. Now, please listen to Sean's response. Sean?
Why? He hasn't listened to me.
He's trying to talk to you.
I listened
I
very
don't care,
carefully to
you're
your
doing the wanning
experiment that you
phase, so
proposed,
you're a
and
liar.
you're not understanding
Your
why it's
mate's
not going to
talking
work.
about
Howard,
telescopes, but he ain't
Howard,
making a video.
Howard.
And you're showing shit images instead of making reproducible videos. That's
Howard.
3 experiments, and you've all failed. You've all showed nothing. Liars.
right.
You're all changed.
Greg, would you like to pull up
I'll
either
hold
of
your
the
hand
first
and
two
do all
links
your
that I
work
sent
for
to
you.
Sorry, Sean, say that again.
Sorry, Sean.
Pull up either of the first 2 links that I sent to you. That's where I actually point the thermal camera directly at the moon, and we'll see how cold it is.
All right,
The moon isn't water. I asked you the temperature of water during the wanning phase, and you keep twisting it. Keep overcomplicating and twisting it, you misleading liars.
What about when Jupiter's in retrograde? Does that matter? Or what about, sorry.
Right, so let me
Hey,
be clear.
bro, make
Harold,
a
let me be
video
clear.
and tell us
Howard,
what-
stop,
shit. Make a
stop
video.
repeating the same thing over and
Make a
over,
video.
and just listen to when people are talking.
Stop lying, Craig. You're a fucking misleading liar. You're getting everyone to believe in
Okay,
shitty
now,
images, but you're not
shush.
reproducing better quality.
Be quiet, like a good little boy.
Why? Don't you like what I'm saying, Craig?
Oh no,
Is it
what you're
hurting your
saying,
income?
what you're saying is hilarious.
Is it endangering your income, Craig?
Not in
Is
the
it
slightest,
endangering
because
your income?
everybody,
Do you
everybody
think I
knows
make
what a
money from
numpty
this?
you are.
Oh, I'm a numpty because I'm asking for evidence to be compared, and you keep twisting the experiments.
And I've asked you to go
shouting
and
over
get the
and saying
evidence, but
your
you
names.
won't get any of the evidence. So that's cool. We
No, you keep twisting the experiment.
Right, yes, Sean.
Here's what I'm going to do, Craig. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit there and actually heat water up to 98 degrees. With the thermal camera, I will actually place my hand into the water and then pull it out. And my hand will show colder than my arm because water absorbs infrared light. Your experiment is flawed.
All right, now I've been trying to ask Harold. Every time I start talking, you interrupt me. I've been trying to ask you a question.
Because every time you guys
Howard,
speak,
let me
it's
ask you a
bullshit.
question. Let me ask
Bullshit.
you. Can I ask you a question, and can you answer without acting like a child?
But first, before you ask me anything,
no. Shh, stop.
Everything
No.
that other guy
Right,
just
I'm
said
going to
is
mute you.
bullshit.
I'm going to mute you. Right, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be quiet and listen, and then respond. Is your claim that only the Wanning light chills water and only water? So to be clear, are you saying that just the waning phase of the moon will chill specifically water? Is that correct?
No, Craig, you're twisting my words again.
That's why I've asked you to clarify, you fucking numpty. What exactly is your claim?
Will I be able to, or will I be interrupted again?
Says the guy who's not let anyone finish a sentence for the past half an hour.
No, I don't let you finish a sentence when it's fucking bullshit about me and twisting my experiments.
So he admits it.
Yeah, okay. So what exactly is your claim?
Because you slander me, I'll stick up for myself. Do you want me to answer your question?
Yes, please.
I've got a telescope for sale. Sorry.
I'm asking people to check how water drops in temperature during the waning phase, when it's under the moonlight during the waning phase. I'm not making any claims. I'm asking people to make a simple experiment, and I'm disgusted on how many
you used it as evidence.
I'm disgusted on how you keep changing the experiment and the variables instead of just doing the simple experiment.
Right, so to be clear, your claim is, because it was one of your evidence that you brought up, that I asked you, one of your 3 evidence of the shape of the Earth was that water is chilled by the waning phase of the moon. Is that correct or not?
By moonlight during the waning phase. Maybe other phases affect it also. Maybe it affects other things. But the only thing that I have verified for myself with...
Oh, right. So you've not done any controls or anything. Cool. Good to know. Good to know.
Sorry, what, Craig? Are you twisting my words again?
No, I'm just saying you've not done any controls by doing it in other phases. You've just admitted that. Thanks. Cool. No worries.
And you did initially say during your experiment
on 2 different months during the waning phase, because there are other people that are saying to do it during the waning phase. Just like a lady gets pregnant at a certain time of the month, maybe the moon is also only giving retracting heat. I don't know how it works. I'm not making claims. I'm asking people to compare evidence. And you changed the experiment.
But you haven't compared any evidence, Howard. You haven't compared...
I have.
No. To compare evidence, you need to do it in other phases of the moon and when the moon isn't there, etc. You literally just admitted that you have only done it in the waning phase.
You're blatantly trying to discredit somebody and twist their
not
words.
at all. I'm trying to understand why you haven't compared it with results of other phases of the moon.
Right, Craig, let's just say this really simple. If everybody can get results of water chilling during the waning phase, it proves that the moonlight chills during the waning phase. If you want to do it at other phases, that's great. But if during the waning phase it chills water, if during the waning phase it chills water, then I'm not bothered about other phases and other materials.
I'm pretty sure
I just want to verify. Please, I just want to verify with repetition. Does it always chill water during the waning phase? I don't want you to change the experiment.
That actually
don't need any other variables. It's a simple condition. If everybody gets the same result, then it proves that the moonlight's chilling water during the waning phase. Let's keep to that.
Let me address something, Craig. Because during your little presentation video, you actually showed a video from somebody named Ken Wheeler that he took during the full moon, and you were claiming that it was cooling things down.
Well, the full moon and the waning phase is within a week of the full moon.
So you didn't do it in the waning phase, you did it in the full moon?
The Ken Wheeler video was full moon.
I did it a day or 2 after the full moon, but the full moon, at what point is the full moon... No, excuse me, at what point is the full moon not waning? And at what point is it...
But if you can do me a favor, Craig...
I don't know exactly what time Ken did it.
That third link that I gave you was actually when I rebutted Ken Wheeler's video with my camera.
The third link...
How about we just get people to keep doing the experiments so that we have more results to compare.
Well, no,
Instead
because
of
Ken Wheeler didn't understand how a thermal camera worked, just like you don't.
Please, instead of preaching your understanding and your beliefs, why don't we just keep comparing results and we'll get to the bottom of it?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Can I just say this? Instead of asking people to believe your video and as if you're the Almighty, why don't we just keep making their experiments?
Because that's not how you do science. Yeah, that's literally called confirmation bias. Now let me ask you a simple question, Harold.
No, it's called consensus from majority.
Let me. Okay, no, you're interrupting me when I'm trying. Harold, I'm trying to ask you a question. Harold, I'm trying to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, please? Right?
Yeah, but don't twist my words, Craig.
I'm not twisting your words. I'm going to ask you a simple question.
Craig. Yeah, you are.
Harold, can you listen to what I'm saying? Stop talking. Stop.
Stop twisting.
Are you ready? Okay.
Stop twisting, Craig. Stop twisting my words, bro. Don't lie.
Have you finished? Have you finished? Good.
Yeah,
right.
But just encourage.
Cool. No, you haven't. You haven't finished. Method. You're still going.
No, you're still going. I haven't. I'm enjoying it. Stop encouraging people to believe you and encourage science.
No, I want to ask my question before anyone else says anything. Right.
Yeah, but stop preaching beliefs.
Okay, right. Now, you're going to be quiet now and listen to my question, all right?
Yeah, but stop asking people to believe you, Craig, and your mates. Let's just...
Do you want to stop? Do you want to stop?
Yeah, do you want to stop, Craig?
Okay, so my question is this.
Do you want to stop, Craig? Because you're bullshitting people, aren't you? And you're asking them to believe you?
My question, Harold, is a very simple one. It's
not very mature of you to keep calling me Harold, though, is it? Is it because you're frustrated because you've got no lack of evidence? You've got a lack of evidence when it comes to reproducible.
Have you finished?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Wait, no, stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Okay.
Keep twisting my words, Craig. Keep twisting my words.
Right. My question...
Keep muting me. Keep calling me names. Keep changing the subject. Keep changing the experiments. Everyone's smelling you for what you are now, mate. You're worried about your income. You want the debate to go on, I'm asking people to check for themselves. What are you asking, Craig? Asking people to believe your bullshit.
No, I'm trying to ask you a question. Right, okay.
I'm bothering your questions.
All right, I'm going to mute you. All right, my question is this. If the same conditions of water cooling down can be observed when there is no moon, would that not invalidate your experiment?
Right, I'll answer that very calm and quiet.
Yes or no? I just want a yes or a no.
I'm not giving you a yes or no. I'm going to answer your question really respectfully if you stop interrupting
me. You're funny.
And your laugh's kind of scary, mate. Sick. No wonder you stick up for Satanists. I think you're a bit of a weirdo, but, I don't mean to embarrass you, mate, but you keep twisting my words and you need exposing for a fucking spin doctor fake that you are. So I'll answer your question. Sorry, just remind me, what was it again? Because you're sick, you disgust me and put me off.
So, if I
You were asking me to agree a yes or no about what?
If I could get the same results of water cooling when there is no moon, would that not invalidate your experiment?
Thank you. That would prove radiative cooling, Craig. We've been over this. You need to have moonlight to have shade to air it, and you can put 10 glasses of water in different shaded, unsheltered shaded areas to compare to the one glass that you leave in direct moonlight, Craig.
I mean, you've ignored my question.
Yeah, I have. You need a moon to have moonlight and shade. Otherwise, they're both in the shade, aren't they, Craig? You're talking about sheltered, non-sheltered.
Are you saying there's no? Are you saying there's no light when there is no moon?
I'm saying that during the waning phase of the moon's phases, it chills water, and even more with a magnifying glass if you do it correctly. And stop asking people to believe you, and instead, why don't you recommend that people do things for themselves?
Because that's called confirmation bias and is pretty stupid. But you've ignored my question. You have ignored my question. The question was, if I could get the same results of water cooling when there is no moon, would that not invalidate your experience? at your experiment?
No.
Yes, it absolutely
No.
would. Because if I could get these same conditions of water cooling when there is no moon,
Craig?
it would mean...
Can you, though, Craig?
Sean,
or are you just talking out of your anus?
Sean, what happened when you looked at the change in temperature when there was no moon? You were looking under that park bench.
Yeah, everything that was quote-unquote shade, as in underneath the bench, was warmer than everything above the bench.
Oh, that's weird. And there was no moon.
Yeah, but that's sheltered, isn't it, mate? Isn't that sheltered? Aren't you comparing sheltered to unsheltered? Aren't you twisting the experiment again?
Well, we're saying that the area away from the shade was also cooler.
What are you talking about, bro? You're talking about sheltered and unsheltered, radiative cooling or something.
We are saying that the air that was away from the shade on a night when there is no moon was also cooler. Meaning that the moon isn't anything to do with it.
Shade. What shade are you talking about? I'm talking about moonlight, shade from moonlight. How can there be shade from moonlight if there's no moon?
Here's the thing, Harold.
Are you joking? Are you joking?
Wait,
are you joking?
Here's the thing, Harold. Once you joking? Once you get me some evidence of, once you get me some, once you get me some evidence of, it happening in other phases or not happening in other phases, then I might actually start listening to you. But you're talking like a crazy person, and you're looking even more like a crazy person.
You can call me what you want, but it's unbelievable.
Can I just bring up one other test that I've done?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
I took the corner of a building where one side of the building was in moonlight for 2 hours, and the other side of the building was in no moonlight for the entire night. And the moonlit side was 2 degrees warmer.
Weird.
Boring. This is boring. You're not letting me ask a question back. It's one-sided.
No, Howard, you never shut up. Now, I'm...
No, you keep interrupting me and twisting my words. You're a lying, misguiding...
Now,
hey, money, Craig.
Tell me again about how the zodiacs have never... Tell me again about how the zodiacs have never changed.
How come... if 1,000 people do the moonlight experiment during the wanning phase and get the same results, you still won't accept it?
Because I would like to compare it against other conditions, which is a very important thing when doing scientific experiments. Why don't you do it? Why don't you actually do it? No. You said you've only done it in the wanning phase, so you haven't done any controls, right?
I've compared moonlight to shade of moonlight. So
now do it in other conditions. All right.
I'm not interested in other conditions.
No, because you don't care about actual experiments, do you? So it's cool. No worries.
I'm not changing the experiment. I'm on about a certain time of the moon phase.
That absolutely confirms nothing, because we all know radiative cooling is a thing.
Do you know how experimentation works?
To have radiative cooling, you have to have a sheltered area compared to an unsheltered area. We've been over this. Surely your subscribers are sick of hearing this. You keep trying to overcomplicate a simple truth.
No, I'm not. Radiative cooling is the answer you're looking for.
If there's no moon, there's no shade from the moonlight. So the comparison is nothing. They're both in the shade. And I'm not talking about sheltered areas, and I'm not even interested in talking about it anymore. I appreciate you've had me on the show. I'm sorry if I've raised my voice, but I can't stand it when people slander me and twist my words.
Oh, I mean, you're a liar, manipulative little twat, but it's cool. No worries.
You're...
Bye.
Tell us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Are you going to run away? Are you going to run away?
I wish you all the best.
Are you running away?
I wish.
Are you going to run away before?
Craig, I think everyone's bored.
Contact me at brainbeaver@gmail.com for a telescope.
Before you go, answer me this question.
What you want.
Howard, before you go. No, you can't. I'm asking you a question.
If you let me speak. If you let me speak, I'll go.
So tell me again about how the zodiacs have been changed.
Can you show me a video? Can you show me a video of stars in slow motion through a telescope? Can you show me a video of stars? Can you show me a video of the stars?
Tell me again about how zodiacs have never changed.
Can you show me a video of the stars?
So tell me again about how the zodiacs have never changed.
Can you show me evidence that wanning moonlight doesn't change water instead of making radiative cooling?
So tell me again about how the zodiacs have never changed.
Can you show me high quality of reproducible evidence?
Can you tell me again about how the zodiacs have never changed, Harold? I'm going to see if he's listened.
Use telescope.
No, I've been talking, Craig. I'm asking, can you show me any reproducible?
Oh no, I'm asking you a
evidence
question. It's my turn to ask a question, so I'm just ignoring you
But
until
you
you
haven't
answer my
listened
question.
to my questions again, have you,
I've
Craig?
answered plenty
You've
of your
never listened
questions,
to
and I'm trying to ask you one now.
Can you show me a video? Can you show?
Right, I've muted you because I want my question answered. Tell me again about how the zodiacs have never changed.
Excuse me, Craig. Can you show me a video of the star?
I muted you again. Well, I'm talking about your zodiacs thing that you brought up in your video.
Changing.
No, I'm going to wait till you tucker yourself out, and I'm going to ask you the question again. Simple question. No. Are you ready? I'm trying to ask you a question because it's my turn to ask a question.
3 experiments.
Okay, no, he's not. He's going to tucker himself out at some point. Look at the poor guy go.
No, he's not.
Hey, Harold, so tell me again about how the zodiacs never changed, and then...
You said I wasn't going to enjoy this, Craig.
Yeah, we can't read any of that.
Oh, I think I've got that picture. I mean, everything on there is wrong.
All this.
Reproducible evidence instead of changing the...
No, he's still going.
That's like a pamphlet, like somebody like what's his name? Nathan gives out or something.
Oh, here we go.
Nothing's his.
Right, that's this, right?
You scumbags.
No.
I heard his channel doesn't have any experiments on it, so he's kind of calling the kettle black, isn't he? Or pot black, well, however that term
So
works.
this is the thing you're referring to, right, Harold?
All around the world.
Right. No, I'm asking you a question about this. I'm asking you a question about this. Let me ask you. Let me ask my question. You can't answer my.
I've heard your question and I'm trying to answer it. Goodbye, Craig. You grow up, mate. Grow up and get a real job.
Are you going to answer the question?
You're making money off lying,
off of you
and
idiots.
Misleading people.
Are you going to answer the question?
To compare evidence.
No, you're not. You're asking for people for confirmation bias. Now, answer my question if you can.
No, I'm asking people to compare evidence. It's called repetition, mate. What you're on about?
So you said in the video, in your evidence, that the zodiacs have never changed, yeah? Did you say that?
We still see the same star signs.
Then why have the zodiacs changed?
What, just recently, yeah?
Yeah. Why did they do that to actually make things match up again?
How come they didn't change for all those thousands of years, but they've also all of a sudden changed, Craig?
Because
that's the thing. They have been slowly, they've been slowly changing over these thousands of years, and we finally just said, okay, we have to adjust everything.
Why did they do that?
That's a belief that doesn't match up with all the temples around the world that still align with certain stars and the sun and moon.
Actually, those temples that you've got there, those
temples, the zodiacs that are carved in stone.
Those temples there don't match up with the stars anymore, Howard. Those temples don't match up with the stars anymore. The temples in that picture.
Have you been to them, Craig? Because I have. I've been to quite a few. What are you talking about, Craig? Are you believing again?
No, they don't match up with the stars anymore. That's an absolute fact.
Have you been and made an observation, Craig? Or are you talking about Uranus again?
Have you gone and observed those stars matching up exactly with those temples?
I've been to a lot of them temples, and I've
no. Twisting my words there. Answer the question. Have you observed those stars matching up exactly with those temples? Yes or no?
Which stars, Craig?
The ones that you have. The ones that you have in that picture there. Those temples with the zodiac.
That's a meme, Craig.
Oh right, so it's not actual evidence.
It's a cartoon, Craig, recommending people make a video of stars. Like your friend keeps talking about his telescope, but he doesn't show a video.
No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Why aren't you talking about that? That's my experiment. Why aren't you talking about that?
Here's something I'm not understanding. You're asking people to make videos that refute you, and when people like me do, you just deny them.
No, you haven't made a
Moonlight
video.
doesn't cool.
Exactly.
Physics doesn't work like that.
I go out and do the work so he can just say no because it's on a YouTube video, so he just gets denial rights because he doesn't want to do it himself.
It's not about me, guys. It's not about me. There's a lot of people out there doing experiments. There's a lot of people.
Then do it and prove it to all those people.
There's a lot of people like you that are just discrediting and ridiculing slander for all these years, and you're actually retarding science. Grow up and make comparison of evidence instead of just regurgitating what you believe and changing the variables.
Let me just explain something here for you, Howard.
Let me just say something to Howard quickly. Over the next month, starting today, over the next month, I am going to record the temperature of water that is outside over a whole month, and I'm gonna then that will refute your nonsense. Okay, I'm gonna do your experiment, but I'm going to do it every day for a month.
Make sure it refutes. Yeah, or you're going to do it unbiased, or you're going to.
I'm going to do it unbiasedly, but I know the results will refute you. But I am going to do it every day for a month.
Well, that's not my experiment, is it, Craig? I'm on about comparing the shade of that night.
Yes, I'm going to do it on that day, but I'm also going to do it on every other day of the month.
How about you take water in the shade that's unsheltered?
I just said I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it every day for a month.
That's lovely, that's lovely. But about my experiment, until you do the experiment...
Yeah, I'm going to do it starting today. Well, starting tomorrow, because it's too late now.
Your assumptions don't mean nothing to me, pal. I'm asking you to do the experiment.
Yeah, and I've just told you...
But your assumptions do?
I've literally just told you I'm going to do your experiment.
I've done the experiment, and I'm asking you to do it and not change the variables.
Telescope for sale.
And be honest, maybe.
Howard,
you can't be too honest because you've got to worry about your income, Craig.
Harold, right?
You're loving this, Craig.
If I do my experiment for a month, if I do your experiment, but I do it every day for a month.
It's not my experiment, Craig. It's just an experiment that I'm recommending.
All right, I'm gonna refer to it as your experiment anyway, okay? But how about if I do your experiment and I do it every day for a month? If I then get results that refute you, will you accept them?
I will.
Howard, I've got a better idea. Here we go. Howard, I've got a much better idea. I've got a much better idea. Me and you are both going to do it every day for a month starting tomorrow. How about that? So that we can compare our results.
I've made my observations.
No. I want to compare my results. I want to compare my results with you.
Don't blackmail me.
So you won't do an experiment? Cool.
Can I speak? If you can show me evidence that conflicts with mine, then I might be interested to verify it for myself.
Well, how about we just do it now? How about starting tomorrow, we do it?
Craig,
why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do the experiment? Why wouldn't you do the experiment?
Hold on. He says he's done the experiment. Where's the video?
So why wouldn't you do the experiment with me, Howard?
Whoa! Quiet all of a sudden.
Because I've done it twice, Craig.
No. I want you to do.
Where's the video?
I don't see a video. Come on, make a video.
I'm on about the wanning phase, Craig. I'm on about the wanning phase.
Where's the video? You said you've done it twice. Where's the video?
Wanting videos from everybody else, but you won't follow your own standard.
Where is it?
I'm not asking people to believe me, guys. Stop twisting my words.
So you're full of shit.
Absolutely, you are. What are you doing here then? Come on.
You brought it up as one. Howard, you brought it up as one as your evidence. I asked for evidence of the shape of the Earth, and you brought it up as your evidence. So
even something like that, Craig, he just said he did the experiment twice, but hasn't done a video. But he's complaining when people do videos.
Where's your video, Howard?
Or don't.
No, I'm complaining when you do the videos on the wrong date and try and mislead people, you scumbag. Stop lying. Stop asking people to believe you.
Let me get back to my question.
But you haven't made a video to back your own assertion up. But you're sitting there saying,
I'm not asking anyone to believe me. Wake up. I'm not asking anyone to believe me.
You keep talking about primary observations. Where's your primary observation?
I think you are literally making shit up.
Yeah, so do I.
I think you're a lying scumbags that make money off this movement, and you don't want people to check for themselves because they'll unsubscribe when they see that you're lying.
Right. Let me do something right now. I'm going to do something that will refute what you've just said. Okay.
You can't refute me. You're inexperienced. You're inexperienced. You're full of assumptions. Fuck off. You tell me to be quiet. You're full of it.
I'm going to mute you so I can talk to my audience for a minute. Guys, okay, starting tomorrow, obviously Howard doesn't want to do the experiment. He's scared of doing it himself. But starting tomorrow, I am going to do his experiment every day for a month. I would like as many people as possible in the audience to also do that experiment and send me the results. Please put 1 in the chat if you're willing to help me do this experiment. Even though Harold doesn't want to do the experiment himself, he's scared of doing it. I would like as many people as possible to do the experiment with me over the next month. 1 if you're willing to do that. Obviously, Harold isn't, so we'll have to do it ourselves.
Do I need to do it? Is it an infrared sensor? Like
no, just the thermometer. Harold, do you want to? Right, Harold, would you like to explain the exact mechanisms of the test so everybody knows how to do it?
Yeah, explain it to me.
Would you like to put the picture on the screen, because it's so simple, it really doesn't need to be complicated any more than that.
Right, explain it.
To be honest with you, I don't think I can do it. My cup will be frozen in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, I would still like you to explain it exactly so that everybody knows exactly what they're doing, so we're not twisting your words, okay?
I can refute this just by taking a glass of water and let it... I can refute this right now just by taking a glass of water, putting it in the refrigerator. Or even just making a cup of hot water and letting it sit on the counter for 30 minutes. It's going to cool off by more than 2 or 3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but Sean, the thing is, his claim is specifically about the waning phase of the moon, so that's what I'm trying to disprove at this point.
It's like you're trying to disprove something, yet you're inexperienced.
No, your experiment is just flawed.
Right, but anyway,
what are you talking about,
Howard,
would you
like... Hold on, Greg, hold on. He's asking for a 2 to 3 degree Fahrenheit change within 30 minutes. Water cools off on its own faster than that.
What are you talking about, though?
If I go out there and start water boiling,
what are you
ask me what I'm talking
about?
You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it.
You're twisting it. Shut up.
Then let me answer. If I go to my kitchen right now and boil a glass of water, it will cool off faster than 2 and 3 degrees every 30 minutes. Your experiment is flawed.
Why are you talking shit? Why don't you let me speak? And like Craig's already said I could.
But
your experiment won't show what you want. It's going to show cooling off no matter what.
Let him explain his experiment to everybody.
Why don't you just shut up and let him say what Craig's asking to say?
Okay, right, Howard, please just explain to everybody watching how to do the experiment.
Can you mute him? Can you mute him, Craig?
I don't need to mute him because he can be an adult and be quiet when he needs to be. So, but please just explain to everybody exactly how to do this experiment, okay?
He needs to be, because he's misleading people.
Right.
I'm talking about water that is already outside in the shade, and you take it from the shade where there's another glass, so you can compare, and you put it in the direct moonlight during the waning phase, and on my experience it went down 2 or 3 degrees. I live in Spain. Maybe it won't do that if you live in a cold country. Maybe it'll do it more if you live in... I don't know. But where I live, it went down 2 or 3 degrees on its own, and it goes even more depending on the size and type of magnifying glass you've got. So please stop talking about taking water inside to outside and it dropping temperature. I never said do that. Use strict controls and keep one glass in the shaded area and put the other glass in direct moonlight, and neither area should be sheltered or should have different surfaces. You've got to take strict controls to make sure that there's nothing affecting it apart from the moonlight. And that's why using a magnifying glass as a manipulator helps verify that it looks like the independent variable. I might be wrong, but so far everyone that's done the experiment, like I've said, has got similar results. And I'm sick of people like Sean, if that's his name.
Okay, right, we don't need to go there. We don't need to go there. We don't need to go there.
And talking about taking hot water outside.
Right, so let me confirm. All right, let me confirm the mechanism of the experiment that you are suggesting. Okay, so we take some water outside, and then we have some in the shade, and some in the moonlight, and we leave it there for a while. Yeah.
No. I'll say it again. You leave water outside.
So like all day?
Both are shaded, and then at some point you take one glass and put it in the light. That's your experiment, correct?
If you make sure that water's the same temperature as each other, and you can do it with a few glasses in different shaded areas, and you'll find that they maintain a very similar temperature. and that the one in the moonlight during the wanning phase will drop considerably more than any of the other glasses in the shade every single time.
I will tell you what.
So
I will tell you what.
try
I can do that.
instead
I
of
can do that experiment.
manipulating.
I can do that experiment. I will do that experiment. And when it doesn't get the results you want, you can shut the fuck up.
You can do what you want, mate. I've got my own experience, and I'll be interested to see your results. But don't think that you're the
I'll do this. When you release a video for it,
let me just answer quickly. I'm asking people to do it so that we can all verify with repetition. Because if lots of people get the same results, then it's obviously we're on to something. Okay, so your results aren't the end all. Okay, your results are interesting, and I'd love to see if you're honest about them.
So,
because you guys seem to be making, you seem to be making money from this. So I don't know if I can trust just your results when my results are different.
Okay, this is exactly why I've asked the 700 people watching.
I'm finishing. I appreciate that you've asked all the viewers to do it. I'm very surprised you've asked all the viewers to do it. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I care only about honesty, Howard, and this is something you need to learn. Okay?
Wow.
Right, now,
So far,
but I still want to clarify exactly what's happening. So, how long does the water need to be outside before we begin the experiment? Or do they just have to...
Until it stabilizes to air temperature, is what I'm going to guess.
Yeah. So I could just put some water out during the day, and then when it's nighttime, right, I have to have some that's in shade, one of them that's in shade, and one that's in the moonlight. Yeah? Is that correct?
Well, I would suggest having your shade creating object have both glasses in the shade, and then since it's got to be during the waning, you're going to leave them out overnight, basically. So you got to make sure it's not going to get below freezing, so the water doesn't freeze. And then shortly before sunrise, you go out and take one glass and put it in the moonlight.
Right. Okay.
GeistView wants us to ask why it's only 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Why not less or more? Is what he's asked.
Well, let's not complicate matters. I'm just trying to get the exact mechanism of the test down.
Thank you.
All right.
Right. So
I was just trying to GeistView, trying to get it
right. So I'll have
30 minutes.
Right. So let's say
30 minutes.
So let's say I've got 2 waters in the moonlight and 2 glasses of water in the moon shade. All right. Then if I take one of the ones that's in the moon shade and put it in the moonlight, and then see if over 30 minutes it chills. Is that acceptable? And then I've got the other 3 glasses as controls to compare it to.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would a half waning moon be perfect for that? That way we don't have to get interference from actual dawn?
Look, where I live, the full moon is roughly midnight. And then every night
I'm not worried about the full moon. I'm not worried about the full moon. I'm going with your waning moon, so it's going to be done in the morning.
Full moon is waning at a certain point, and that would be probably the most strongest results you can get. But I'm not sure if it's after midnight or after 2, 3 o'clock, and I don't know if different parts of the world it depends. All I know is
so one day after the full moon is fine with you then.
Within a few days after the full moon, I have made an experiment that I heard about, and I got the results that shocked me, and I made the meme, or mem, whatever you call it, to show how simple we can check for ourselves, and that if we put a few glasses in shaded areas that are unsheltered to make sure it's not radiative cooling, and like we've just discussed about the other variables, I'm quite confident that you'll get the similar results. Maybe more than 2 or 3 degrees, maybe less, but I'm very interested in people doing practical experiments and comparing evidence instead of just shouting assumptions.
Will you take part?
And ridicule.
Will you take part in this mass experiment? Oh no! I want to do it every day for a month, and then we can compare our results in real time.
Great. I haven't been making money from this for the past 2 years.
I don't care about making money. It doesn't matter. The point is, I want to compare my results with your results.
I'm going to take a page out of Howard's playbook here.
Your subscribers' results, and I would love to finish my sentence. For 3 years, I've given my life to doing activism, making invitation for tender for people to compare evidence because nobody wants to.
That's what I'm asking you now, though.
I've come on this debate and been ridiculed, slandered, and I've had all sorts of insults over the last 3 years. I have come here tonight and made that video as best as I could to explain how easy we should all be checking for ourselves. This is my retirement. I'm out. I've done 3 years. I've been around the world.
Right,
yeah?
so basically what you're saying is you won't take part in the experiment.
I've taken part. I've given my life for 3 years.
You haven't done the controls, though.
I'm going to take a page out of his book right now.
Results, and I may do the experiment again if people
I'm going to
show
take
me
a page out of your playbook right here, right now. Because you've thrown this at everybody else. No.
Please,
I'm going to take a page out of your playbook.
Slandering me.
You say you've done all this, but have provided no evidence. There is no videos, there is no photographs, and you're demanding that from everybody else. That is an insane double standard that you're not willing to live up to.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're twisting words. I'm not demanding anything. I'm recommending if you want to know,
blah, blah, blah,
check.
blah, blah.
Unless you want to keep believing in
debate, you said, is there a video? Is there a video? Is there a video? When we ask about your evidence, there's no video. Hold yourself to your own standard.
I'm asking you to believe me. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm recommending people check and compare evidence. I've made the observation,
showing them bullshit,
and I'm asking people
showing them garbage you've never looked up yourself. Just parroting.
That's an assumption,
Get a telescope.
isn't it?
Figure out what you're looking at. Stop showing pictures of aberrations and actually look at it properly with the proper tools. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Like focusing.
I showed my tools. I showed my tools on my video.
Harry,
I've made an experiment.
Harry,
you showed up to a knife, like gunfight with a knife, man. Like Jesus Christ, get the right tool.
Right, guys, Harry, I want to know why it is you won't. Why won't you do the experiment with us?
I've got a question. Why do you care about me? Why don't you check
because
for
you're
yourself?
making a search and
I'm literally doing that. I'm literally doing that, but I'm invited. I'm literally saying that I'm going to do that. That's what the past 20 minutes has been about. But I'm asking you to take part in the mass experiment. But you're too afraid to do it. Because you're scared. I understand.
Yeah, why would you want to actually do the things you talk about? You're going to show pictures of stars that are planets that are unfocused, and then you're going to say they don't exist, and then you don't have the right tools.
I mean, you are literally the epitome of religious belief.
It's crazy. It's indoctrination. You are indoctrinated.
Yeah, he's so far brainwashed. It's crazy.
You are indoctrinated. It is crazy.
Really?
Yes, you are one of the most brainwashed people I've ever met.
It's crazy.
You all sound like the guy that's asking me to go and make an observation with him down the coast, but he won't produce it himself. Why won't you just check yourself?
You should watch the stream afterwards and see how much you talk and don't actually have anything actually of your own. That whole video was a mashup of other people's shit, and none of it you have done. Not a fucking single bit of it is done. And I query you to do a bit of it, and you go, you do it, you show me. Show me over YouTube so I can say it's fake. Get a life.
Make a video. It's all you said this whole time.
Make a video. Show me. Yeah,
how about you make a video?
You want to convince me, then make a video. I'm only asking you to
How about you convince yourself and you make one as well?
He doesn't like evidence.
I'm recommending you check for yourselves.
He's never done an experiment in his life.
It's scary.
You want me to
scary
believe
listening to people like this.
No, I want you to join in the experiment. I want you to show you a video.
Show me counter evidence. Show me why I should make the fucking experiment instead of show me your evidence.
The experiment is the point, right? You want evidence to convince you to get evidence.
You've made it zero. You're making assumptions. I'm talking from experience.
You're making the right hand motion. That's all you're doing is yak, yak, yak.
Yeah, because I have experience. You haven't. You've not done it during the
Prove that you've got the experience.
Doing all those experiments.
Where's the evidence of your experience?
How many telescopes have you purchased and looked through yourself?
I've made a video. It's called 3 Easy Experiments. Check it out, everybody. It's simple. And I'm recommending people check for themselves. I'm not asking anyone to believe
where you had
me.
the bits of water on the windowsill. That was wonderful.
You that I should check again, then show them done it, and then I might be interested to do it again. But don't try and blackmail me. Don't blackmail me to try and get me to do something. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Oh no, I'm going to do it, and so are a bunch of my fans. But I was asking you to do it as well. But I understand that you're scared. It's cool. I understand. I understand that you are scared to do it. That's understandable.
No.
You don't want to change your confirmation bias.
I want to see you do it.
I understand that you're scared.
And we want to see that you've actually put some effort into this. Where's your video?
Wait, I want to point something out. That he just said, "Show me a video."
You want to call me scared?
You are scared. He just said, show me a video to prove, like, okay, here's a video. There's, what do you want? You said show me.
Didn't you know?
Wait, he's rage quit. He's rage quit! Oh, he's ran away.
Blah, 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 blah.
I think he didn't like the beep.
My other one's loading. I hit Shelly's fabulous, but it's not coming up. Hold on.
Shelly's been fabulous.
There it is.
So you see what happened there. We asked him to join in an experiment with us, and he ran away. But well done, Sean, for pointing out the fact that he keeps asking for stuff, yet he's not done any himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredibly hypocritical. I mean,
why
ask people for evidence if you're not willing to, back up your own assertion? And somebody just pointed out in the chat that somebody that he hasn't obviously never seen my channel and, still hasn't ever called me a liar. I've taken claims that flat earthers have made so far that I've actually built a physical scale model of the flat earth in my backyard. That's how I started my channel, pretty much. And just to see what didn't work. And guess what? Nothing.
Nothing works. Why is Russia probing Canada's borders from the north? That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. It would be a long way to come that way if you weren't... Although I guess no, not in their model. What am I thinking? They're still fucking right over the top. Fuck them.
Hey, guys,
it's still stupid.
I've found some live footage of Howard getting the challenge to do an experiment.
Nope. That's the same one I said. Try thinking the other day. Hey, try thinking. Your biggest fan in the world. He was posting about you, and he wouldn't answer a question. I said, "This is try thinking answering questions." I was like, "Whoop, nope."
Howard, do an experiment. Oh no.
Buy a telescope.
Woden Toad just says waning away.
Oh man. That was fun. I didn't expect that to be anything other than a dumpster fire. I tried to hold my calm. I think I shouted a couple of times, but.
Hey, can you fight? If you there's two pictures I sent you to your Discord before you take off. One is a picture of the telescope I have, the tiny 20-year-old telescope I have, and then the other one is a picture not taken by me, I will admit, but this is a picture taken, and this is exactly, I remember looking at Jupiter with the right equipment. This is exactly how Jupiter looked when I looked through it. There's no display screen on this. If you take the eyepiece out, you can look right down inside it and see the mirror that everything bounces off of, and it's just like, hello in there. There's no specialty other than that it has a... are you trying to show? Oh, you're gonna. I can actually just bring it up, but you got the pictures.
You bring up.
Okay.
And Craig, there is one correction that I have to make for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Raw files can be edited.
Are they?
I've done it myself.
As a raw file?
Yes, I've done it myself when I was countering Sleeping Warrior's 3 eclipse photos that he was finding new stars in through the solar filters. I actually edited the raw files and saved them as raw files.
You can bring that bigger if you want to.
Okay, so, that's news to me.
I didn't know that either until I accidentally did it. But yes, you can edit a raw file and save it as a raw file.
So you took that picture yourself, Brainy?
No. This is what I was saying. I clarified that I did not specifically take this picture, but this picture was taken with that exact telescope that you can just mount a DLSR, which nobody even had them when it was, you'd use regular camera when this thing came out. But now you just put a DLSR at the back of, and it's very basic. In fact, this was actually one level before mine even, but either way, you just have a little button panel there. It has no GPS, nothing like that. You have to point it north and level. And then what it does is you turn it on, you've kind of told it where you are on the planet. The closest place I have is Winnipeg. Sorry, I'm not showing the telescope. This telescope. It's the closest place I have is Winnipeg to where I grew up. So I would say I'm in Winnipeg, and then what it would do is it would slew over based on facing north and level, not straight. I don't know. It would point up to where it thinks the brightest star in the sky is at that time of day and daylight savings, yes, no, all those kinds of questions it would ask you on a little screen, which is on that handheld. The handheld was just a little bigger with a little crappy screen on it. And then, you would aim it to the one star, hit enter. It would slew to where it thought the second brightest star in the sky was. You would manually aim it and hit enter. And after that, it used triangulation to know where everything was. So you could just say, I want to see Mars, and it would tell you if it was below the horizon. But if it wasn't, it would just start moving towards it. And you just, as you zoomed in on the objects, you obviously kept moving left and right and pinpointing as you got closer and closer and closer until eventually you get that eventually. And that is exactly what I saw when I was only a young teenager. So, I mean, this garbage of, like, you don't have to be special. I was a child with a telescope. My dad bought me a telescope and said, here, go have fun. And all I asked from him is I looked on the internet and I was like, there's better eyepieces. I want a better eyepiece. And they're not cheap. You can spend $100 on an eyepiece. But this is backyard kid level shit. This is 20-year-old technology.
Yeah. I just want to address H2O Water in the chat, who we've actually had a very constructive conversation about the way I was describing LIGO, and he did help me describe it better, so I appreciate that. But he says that I should address the black swan image that Flerfs have started using. Sean, you seen that one?
Oh God, that thing, yeah.
Riley's bashing it about. It's of 2 oil platforms.
So's our
and you can see.
So's our favorite guy there, Nathan Oakley.
Yeah. You can see 2 oil platforms and the horizon behind them. And basically, they're using that as their slam dunk proof that the Earth is flat. But I mean,
except the same guy that took the pictures that they're using has taken them on various days, and it's under very specific atmospheric conditions that actually happens.
Yeah, I am covering that in a video I'm working on, and I've modeled out the maths for the observation and what you should be able to see based on standard refractive conditions, and it's not an issue. I mean, it matches the globe model. Water Business Calculator is brilliant for stuff like that. But yeah, I will be addressing that. Sean, thank you very much for coming on and showing your counter evidence. It was pointless because he doesn't like evidence.
Well, obvious. He doesn't want to gather his own, so.
No. And thank you, Brainy, for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
Sorry for getting all shouty on there. I don't like doing that, but he started boiling me. I started bubbling here. So, he was so ignorant.
Craven Mordic, the oil platforms that clearly show the bottoms of them missing. Yes, those ones. But Super Chat's had quite a few guys, so thank you very much. Sir for $5. I can't stay, but wanted to say stop censoring Harold. He did not like that. Copernicus Thinker for $5. If this guy actually has a working flat Earth model, we're bringing in the big guns, Cookie, to deal with him. Cookie, she's asleep over there. Huge Arse for $5 says, if Howard is skeptical that it's a globe, he must have seen some pretty convincing evidence for that position. What was it, Howard? No, he doesn't have any. We kept asking him for his own videos. His evidence of flat Earth is that moonlight apparently cools water, but only in the waning phase, but he won't do any experiments to try and disprove that, which is the idea of a scientific experiment, is to try and disprove something that you come up with. That's why you design an experiment and you have a null hypothesis and stuff. Yet he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't understand anything about anything. John Rapp for $5, Australian. Everyone say hello to John Rapp. Good day, FTFE, Brainy, Howard, and everyone else. So, contrarian versus realist, woo versus woo, gobbledygook versus globe, imaginary guff versus real stuff. Yeah, basically. Copernicus Thinker for $5. I assert, Howard style without evidence, that Orphan Red is a malfunctioning fembot. Prove me wrong. Interesting story about Orphan Red, or Mensa Girl, as she likes to call herself now. I've had an email for somebody who works at one of the Mensa offices, and they have no record of anyone under her name being a member of Mensa. I haven't confirmed this myself. This is hearsay at this point, but this is something that could be a possibility, that she's lying to everyone about being a member of Mensa. Copernicus Thinker, I know I just read that one. Andrew Stoll for $5. Harold, since you're not a US citizen, don't worry yourself about how much is spent on NASA. Yeah, it's not even a lot. Andrew Stoll for $2, thank you. Howard, do you trust the speedometer in your car? No, he doesn't trust anything. Better charge for $2 New Zealand. I wouldn't say easy, it took 20 years to get it right. Yeah, it took a long time to calibrate LIGO. Copernicus Thinker for $5. No need to bring in Cookie to further debug this simpleton FTFE. You've got this one solo. Alexander Nick for €10. Give me a YouTube link. Please show him this video. There are hundreds of them. Better charge for $2. Hashtag stop censoring Harold. But he didn't fucking shut up. NANA for $6.66. FTFE and Brainy Beaver. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Better charge $2 New Zealand. They say do it yourself. Love to see the reverse, lol. Yeah, they don't like doing... He doesn't have to do it himself, apparently. Alexander Nick for €10. This is even better. Please show him how mirages can look. I will send him those links. Don't worry, thank you. Sarcastic Barman for £5. Ha ha ha. Thank you for the sticker. Minus for 100 Donkey Kong dollars. I do appreciate it. If you show a Flerf an image, they ask for a video. If you show a video, it's CGI. They want a photo. If you show a 50-year-old photo, they change the topic or deny because didn't do it themselves. Rangerman 9404 for $5. I called 911, but they said they can't put out a dumpster fire on YouTube. Craig Connors for $5. Howard, you keep saying you want video, but don't trust video based on Marvel's capability in the intro. John Rapp for $2. Howard is a rude prick that won't listen. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, he didn't shut up. Copernicus Thinker for $2. Howard's 5 minutes of infamy are just about over. Minus for another 20 Donkey Kong dollars. Harold is dizzy from all the waning. Thank you. Rosa 43 for $5. Flerf is incredibly delusional. Doesn't even care that his experiment is invalid. Love when Flerfs attempt science or math and make up their own rules. Jackalope Herdmaster for $2. Hashtag please censor Harold. Don't worry, Hank is getting censored from now on. Manhattan QC for $5. I don't know how you can handle this idiot. The lack of brain cells trigger me so hard. Keep up the good work. Copernicus Thinker for $2. Howie's brain is a few fries short of a Happy Meal. He's an entire fucking box short of a Happy Meal, mate. He's a picnic basket short of a picnic. Ash Scott for £2. I drink every time he's shaved, waning. No, you're going to die. Better charge for 2 New Zealand dollars. Here's money because Harold said to give you some. Thank you. Better charge again. Set up room on Discord to collect the data. Yep, I absolutely plan to do that in the morning. Copernicus Thinker for $2. If we twisted his words, they might make sense. No Doubt for $2. Want some cheese with that wine, Harold. And Silex 666 for £2. Hayward would make a great politician. He wouldn't. He sucks at everything. Life in general, he fails. Thank you everyone for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. You can also become a channel member with the link in the chat now. I do appreciate it. But if you are able to support me financially, you can help my channel by sharing on all your favorite social medias. I've heard that Bebo is a thing. Or there's a new, MySpace, I heard. That's a new one. Just share it on there. It would be brilliant. But thank you guys for watching. Sean, thank you again for coming on and presenting your evidence. I do appreciate that. And Brainy, any final thoughts?
No, just everybody saw me put this up. This was Geist View's image of Jupiter. So I'll just pitch that one last time. Geist View being awesome, and I made this nice little heart name for him.
Yeah, I would have brought you on Geist View, but there was honestly no point unless you had a physical video to show him. He would have just shouted. But yeah, that's been an absolute dumpster fire. Everyone, thank you for watching. I'm working on a video at the moment with Planner Walk. I'll show you the thumbnail for it. Hold on. If I can find.
I'm getting requests for blah 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 blah.
Blah blah.
It's still fun. As soon as I got that, I'm like, I never want to lose this. I got to get more. I've got to fill this sound panel with. I've got to have like a Flerf, like a symphony where I can put, just play all these different Flerfs.
So yeah, this is the video I am working on. And yeah, there are people that are dumber than flat earthers, and they're called anti-vaxxers. Me and Planner Walk, I would have had this out sooner, but my wife's been really ill the past week or so, and I've been dealing with that. But next few days we should have this one out. I'm working on a collaboration with Team Skeptic, and on Wednesday we're going to have Conspiracy Cats on Science or Satire to talk about his debate with Kent Hovind, where he absolutely ruined the guy.
I haven't seen it yet. I got to watch that.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
And I'm getting told that my last word should have been telescope for sale, and that's actually true. As soon as I read that, I was like, that's actually right. So go ahead. Sorry again.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. It's been an absolute blast as always, and I will see you all very soon. But in the meantime, remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.